Hello. What's going on? All right, let's wait a little bit. Should we? Just make sure everything's working. Mm-hmm. 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 All right. Not able to see chat where I should be, but whatever. We're gonna power through. We're gonna power through. All right. We've got a couple side scrollers videos. I've also got a couple articles, one from CNN, one from Dexerto, couple more videos if we've got time for it. And then we will try to see if we can play this game called The King is Watching, which is actually probably more what I was trying to do yesterday, but it didn't work out. So we'll do that. All right. And I think we're going to make a video about this stuff. We're going to make it about the YouTube's OnlyFans type stuff. That'll be pretty good because I do have a decent idea of what we're going to be talking about there. All right. Let's take a look at this video. Kidnapping kids will be illegal in California. California's a wild spot. I don't totally disbelieve this right off the bat.
Maybe this is one of the reasons why In-N-Out Burger is moving out, as apparently there's a new law that has been...
In-N-Out leaving is hilarious because it's technically not leaving. It's just like their headquarters are moving. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. But it is, I don't know why you're trying to be keeping all of these locations in a state that's kind of super unhelpful to you running a business, and then also is going to be just way worse off for everybody involved. I don't know. I think you should cut your losses, but obviously you can't because there's all these brick and mortar, you know, edifices that you have that you really can't do anything with. You could sell them. And I guess a lot of them are also sort of like franchised, so you don't necessarily own them as long as they keep making money and people like In-N-Out, so they're going to keep buying them there. It makes sense. But yeah, if you get as much stuff as you can out of California as fast as humanly possible.
been passed that is allowing non-family adults to take guardianship of any minor with a simple form. Just check the box if parents cannot be located, creating a legal loophole that makes kidnapping children easy. Have you heard about this?
I have not heard about this, but the first thing that came to mind is, wow, think of how many teachers and activists will be able to trans children now.
Well, there we are. This is AB 495. It says, presto, someone walks away with your child. As California lawmakers recess for the summer, Assembly Bill 495, dubbed the Family Preparedness Plan Act of 2025, always the wonderful packaging on these things, sits poised in the Senate Appropriations Committee, otherwise authored...
I don't want to be blocking Fox Girl.
...by Assemblywoman Celeste Rodriguez. The bill claims to provide compassionate solutions for immigrant families facing sudden separations due to detention and deportation. Ah, yes.
Oh, that is human trafficking 1,000%. There ain't no way.
Yeah.
But critics, including attorneys, parental right advocates, okay, first off, this is silly. The idea of the idea that parental rights advocates need to exist is just silly to begin with.
It is.
Faith-based organizations.
Well, the funny thing is, wouldn't these parental right advocates also, shouldn't they also be like involved in saying like, hey, parents have a right to say, yeah, I don't want my kid being taught about like trans or gay stuff in public schools. I'm paying for it with my tax dollars. I should have a say in what's being taught in these things, what the curriculum is, and I should have some choice in where my kid goes to school if, I can't make sure that the education, the curriculum is the way that I want it to be. I should have a degree of choice if I'm funding these public schools. But I haven't seen a lot of these. Have I? I don't know.
Organizations warn it dangerously redefines guardianships, strips away parental rights, and creates legal loopholes that may make kidnapping children easy. Yes. The authors...
Well, the majority of people in California believe in the child-free lifestyle, so they're not having kids themselves, so they're probably just like, you know what, it's not my kid, not my problem. If it gets kidnapped, fuck it.
That is an interesting point because there is a legitimate huge difference, psychologically speaking, between people who have kids and who don't. Like the people who have kids have just an entirely different worldview. You know, like just even if you were very much sort of liberal progressive in your ideology and therefore like in your personality, the second you have kids, that is sort of subsumed into, okay, yes, I still believe in all those things, but also my kid takes precedence. Okay. And if that means that I have to be a little bit more conservative, so be it. I don't care. My kid's the priority. And if you have a whole bunch of people who, don't have that or don't care about that, making your policy, then your policy is going to be inherently one sided and probably not one that is centered around preserving civilization and civilizational values.
I don't understand. Like these people who live in California, first off, what are you guys still doing? Like legit question.
The weather's nice.
I have a family member who lives out in California, and they have lived out there for pretty much their entire adult life. And I say this all the time, like, it's funny because I saw a video of these people who lived in the UK, and they came over to the United States for a holiday, and it really put in perspective how messed up their country is over there, because they were in the weeds. They don't see it happening. Then they leave, and then they take a step back and they go like, oh, I see what everybody else is talking about, right? And I feel like that would happen if a lot of these Californians did that. If they just went away and they didn't go to New York, they went to Nebraska or whatever, anywhere in any flyover state, and they realized how life actually was out of their bubble, they would realize how unbelievably messed up their state is.
You would think that, but the problem seems to be the opposite, right? Californians end up fleeing California and going to other areas to get away from policies in California, and then just vote for the same exact shit that made California bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just bring their... That's why they keep...
They bring the politics. And the funny thing is, I guess they're moving because they figured out, look, California's super expensive. Maybe they don't understand it's super expensive, not because there's not enough space, not because of this, but because of policies, because of, tax policies, and the tax policies are an outgrowth of liberal, leftist, progressive. We want the government to be in more control of stuff, and we want more services for everybody. Okay, well, we have to pay for that somehow. Therefore, we're going to be doing that through taxes. We're funding all of these programs and initiatives through taxes, and therefore, you're going to be spending a lot more money out of your paycheck. You're left with less to spend on things that you want because of the way that you voted. So they move to go, oh yeah, you know what? I can save $50,000, $20,000, whatever, a year in my salary and taxes if I move to Texas. Okay, that's great. But then you're bringing the same policies that will end up costing you that 20, 30,000, whatever amount of dollars. And you don't seem to recognize the fact that, you're self-interested. Okay, if you are self-interested, then you need to vote that way. You can't vote with the sort of like woolly-headed liberal ideology if you want to keep your money in your pocket. Okay?
Keep falling for communism. They're fucking idiots. They keep, they're like, I need to leave here because it's terrible, but I'm going to keep voting for the exact same thing. And communism this time, it's going to be different. Like,
surely it will work. It's for the greater good. It has to work, right?
Yeah.
Well, the author's intent says Assemblywoman Rodriguez has her supporters argue, and her supporters argue that AB 495 argues children are not left vulnerable if the parent is detained unexpectedly by by ICE. By federal immigration officials. Her bill attempts to create streamlined guardianships by allowing a non-relative extended family member, defined broadly as anyone in a mentoring relationship,
Jesus Christ,
to assume control over a child through a one-page affidavit. No court review, no notarization, no parental consent required. That is balls crazy.
That's just stupid. I mean, no parental consent required. I guess let's think. Let's try to game this out. Let's try to make as good an argument for this as possible. We can't have any kind of parental consent required because if that's true, if those parents have been deported, then that means we can't get this to happen. Okay, I kind of get it. But if you're just doing it for that reason, and then you're not thinking about any of the potential consequences, you're just an idiot. You shouldn't be making policy. If you're that if you cannot imagine any way in which this law could be poorly enforced or negative consequences come out of it, you should not be allowed to be making policy.
So if I am like a human trafficker and I'm reading this and I know about all the illegals that I have trafficked into this country, I am now thinking, if I report these illegals to ICE, I can then take control of their children and traffic them again for another payment.
Yes. It's just so messed up. Rodriguez defends the bill by highlighting that existing tools like caregivers' authorization affidavits lack clarity and enforceability. She insists that AB 495 enhances child welfare by giving caregivers legal recognition and child access to essential services without unnecessary disruption. Aaron Friday, an attorney and president of Our Duty USA, a parent-led advocacy group, called AB 45 a child traffickers and kidnappers' dream bill. No background check, no welfare check, no court oversight, no verification. All you need is a piece of paper and some form of identification with no obligation for the adult handing the child over to verify the identification. And presto, someone walks away with your child. California wants to let someone that is not related to your child remove them from her school, enroll her in any school in the state, authorize any medical treatment for her, including mental health services and drugs, without parents' notice or knowledge of consent.
Okay. Who says this? I need to put on my stupid glasses here. All right. That is Attorney Nicole Pearson, founder of Facts, Law, Truth, I can't really see it. Echoed from those concerns between testimony, House sentence. All right. Now, did this specifically mention medical treatment? I would be unsurprised if it did, because, I mean, again, if they're basically saying, hey, this person takes over guardianship, that's everything included in, normal guardianship, including medical decisions. So, I mean, this is just so insanely broad. This is, I mean, it's ridiculous. I hope this does not get passed. It's California, so I wouldn't be surprised if it does. Unfortunately, the people that are going to be affected by this are not the people that are, that should be. They're not the people that are going to be caught with these bad consequences. It's going to be, innocent kids who bear the brunt of the bad stuff coming out of this.
This is not fear-mongering. I'm not being hyperbolic. These are unintended consequences. The unintended consequences are terrifying, and they're unavoidable.
Yeah.
I think, I don't think that this lady who's writing this bill is thinking that these are she's not intending for this stuff to happen. But it's going to happen.
See, I used to be able to give benefit of the doubt where it's like, oh, maybe the politician just had a blind spot, right? Maybe they didn't think about some of the unintended consequences. But where this is a Democrat and where this falls in line with a lot of their other shit about removing parental rights, I can't imagine that this is unintended. This is the state that decriminalized knowingly giving HIV to people. There's no way that this wasn't written intentionally.
Man, that's crazy.
I tend to be a little bit less gung-ho about this. I think Kirsha definitely has a, if not a blind spot, let's call it a sensitivity to these things, which makes sense. It's understandable. But I will tend to basically ascribe stupidity to politicians very easily. I have no problem with that. Hey, this politician has a dumb idea. Okay, it's because they're a dumb person. Totally, absolutely. That makes sense, right? That completely tracks. Them being intentionally, intelligently evil is a bit more of a stretch for me. It's not to say that I can't see it. It's just that I need a giant pattern of behavior. I haven't seen it with this specific person, so I would have to say, no, this person's just somebody came to them with this idea of like, hey, like my kid could get separated from me. I want to make sure that my friend, my neighbor, who I'm very close to and have a great relationship with, and I know they're going to take care of my kid if I get deported. I want them to be able to, come in and get my kid, even if I'm not here anymore, so I can't give consent. Oh, okay, well, we can make a bill like that. And they'll do it, they'll run it through, they'll rush it through, and never think twice about it, because in that one instance, the example that they had was like, oh yeah, this is a good thing. They've never thought about the broader implications of it. I'm totally willing to give that motivation to any and every politician who ever proposes a law, because that's usually what happens. That's usually what happens is someone comes in and says, steroids killed my son. They made him kill himself. Therefore, all steroids should be banned. That's literally how it happened, by the by. And that's a very heart-wrenching, heartbreaking story. But it should not be informing public policy, because that's not how these things work. Okay? And then you just made it so that it's an insanely broad law that is never thought about in a wider context. And that's what we're getting here. The difference is that, the victims here are going to be innocent people that are going to get, kidnapped, that are going to get, abused, they're going to get trafficked. It's going to be really bad. And hopefully there are some people that are going to understand this and they'll be able to kill this law. But I wouldn't be surprised if it goes through.
As a parent, this is infuriating to see. And I think that's where when you mess with kids, that's when parents get involved. And I can't imagine this ever passing, right? If it's legally voted on, if the parents in California are not heard by the time this actually goes to vote, and this isn't just like swept way out of the way, I'll be shocked. I can't imagine anyone being like, yeah, I'd really like my child to be taken away from me by, Uncle
No, I
Rico,
can't imagine any of the people voting for this, but I'm sure the politicians will push it through anyways, and it will magically get enough, support or whatever. It's like, I'll have to find it again because I don't have it, but in Massachusetts, apparently they've just agreed to give like $30,000 to illegal migrant families to help them buy houses in the state. One of the states with like the highest real estate property now. Like I can't even express how angry I am at that kind of shit. Like Democratic politicians in power. We can talk about how bad Republicans are, right? But Democrats literally just hate Americans at this point. Like there's no way around it.
That's rough, man. Rough. Daniel says, wow, sounds like a very bad law that, of course, will be abused by woke agenda pushers. Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%. GS Wolfwood says, just when you think California can't sink any lower, and then they do this. We should already revoke their statehood and turn the entire place into a prison already. We're growing.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, again, I will say, in summation, my guess is the politician who proposed this is stupid and nearsighted, did not think about any of the consequences of this potential bill. And hopefully people can reason with her and talk some sense into her. And there's a giant amount of people that go, no, we don't want this. If you get this, you're going to get voted out. And that politician's self-interest will kick in and go, oh, okay, well, this isn't popular, so I'm not going to do it. Hopefully that's the case. In other stupid laws like this, I'm fine for California to do it. I'm fine for California to shoot themselves in the foot because it's their foot, Maybe they'll eventually learn, or, they shoot themselves in the foot so many times that they no longer have legs to stand on and they just sit down and shut up. That'd be great. But in this scenario, the people whose feet are going to be shot, to stretch that analogy to its breaking point, are going to be innocent people who were not able to vote on this, who had no impact on this, and were not consulted for it. Alrighty. And now, YouTuber to OnlyFans, this doctor is doing. Let's try to find us a good intro. Alrighty. Doctor to OnlyFans? Is this true?
Flash, you've been a YouTuber for how long?
A few years now.
A few years. It's going pretty well.
That's gone bad, I think.
Yeah, I think you've done very well for yourself. Congratulations on that.
Actually, let me hit the record button. All right. Doctor to OnlyFans? Are we this hard up for money?
Flash, you've been a YouTuber for how long?
A few years now.
A few years. It's going pretty well.
That's gone bad, I think.
Yeah, I think you've done very well for yourself. Congratulations on that. Blabs, you are, obviously Side Scrollers has gone pretty good. You also have a YouTube channel, which is good. You has been well established in the past that you did attempt to sell your feet one time.
Listen, you're making this out to be something it's not, okay? Context here, I did a little dare or a bet, and I don't know, at this point, it was so many years ago, like 3 years ago, that I can't remember the actual bet, but
3 years ago.
Shut the gates, Phoenix.
Listen,
doesn't matter. Shut the gates.
We're talking about the feet thing.
Shut the gates. There we go. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Can
Get
they
rid
hear
of her.
her or no?
No, they cannot hear.
Okay, good. They can't hear. Excellent. All right, very good.
But I'm watching her.
Okay.
She's animated. It's great.
But the point here is that, listen, sometimes when the YouTube channel isn't going as well as you think it would go, or maybe your career maybe not be going the way that you go, it goes back to ease. And we have a YouTuber who has quit. Not just being a YouTuber. Hey, welcome back, Blabs. But also her PhD.
All right. YouTuber quits PhD to become an OnlyFans content creator. Okay. Is she a YouTuber? Is she a PhD program candidate? Which is the deal? Because here's the thing. PhD is not the same as being a doctor. All right. You get a doctorate. Yes, that's true. But most people, when they say doctor, they mean MD, not PhD. She could be getting a PhD in English. Okay. That's not going to pay the bills. It's just not. It's not. You would need a professorship to even remotely possibly think about putting food on the table with an English PhD or any kind of like humanities-based PhD, except for maybe psychology. That's kind of the only one you can parlay into a normal job within your field. So this is probably why she's doing YouTube. But here's the thing. When you're on YouTube, if you are a cute girl, by any definition, you are going to get non-stop offers for a bunch of money to do stuff that's kind of sexy, kind of naughty, kind of, a little bit outside your comfort zone, perhaps. And eventually, if you ever hit any kind of financial straits, that big pulsating door of ease and money is very easy to walk into. And once you're through it, that's it. You're done. You did it. So then why wouldn't you just keep doing it?
HD to become an OnlyFans content creator right here. So let's just see what she has to say. And by the way, this is, PhD is a doctor over here.
Doctorate. MD is a doctor.
He's going to be a doctor.
All right.
She says, no.
Like Dr. Jill Biden. Okay. Yeah. Yes, technically, that could be on an envelope in the mail, but you're not a doctor.
No, I'm just going to take off my clothes.
I've dropped out of my PhD. I've cried so much over this decision to quit my PhD, because it's a stressful decision. Not that I'm particularly sad about it. I'll get into all of that in a bit later, but moving on to...
You missed opportunity here. Someone in the chat has it. Like, she could have still did the OnlyFans and become Dr. Jugs.
Exactly. I was thinking of like, bro, just dress up and everything. Do whatever you need to do with your PhD stuff. Boom.
Own it. Yeah. 100.
Yeah, I mean, that is the other side of this. If you're actually hard up for money, continue doing your PhD program, Again, depends on what your PhD's in. It might be a complete waste of time, and they are actually way cheaper than a master's degree, but still can cost a ton of money. Do the PhD if you're interested in it and it looks like it's going to make money. If you're interested in money. And then wear a mask, totally protect your identity and do the OnlyFans to supplement your income. That's kind of the only way you can do this in any way, shape, or form that's not going to come and bite you in the ass in the long term. Okay? Because unfortunately for her, she looks young enough for that long-term thinking part of your brain to be slightly underdeveloped, and therefore she's probably going to regret this. That's why we hate to see this. We don't hate to see people doing OnlyFans. It's the fact that you're ruining your life in the future. You're ruining the next 50, 60 years of your life for 5 years of enormous wealth, possibly, and a little bit of fame and clout, which is also going to screw you up mentally.
100%. And I mean, attractive girl, nice assets, just saying.
She got good genes.
Yeah, she does. She should be an American Eagle ad right there. But let's see what happens here.
Later, but moving on to doing OnlyFans and content creation full-time, it's not just a career choice, it feels kind of like a gamble on the direction of my entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a gamble. But here's the fun part that most people don't even think about. So is OnlyFans. The vast majority of OnlyFans models do not make the amount of money that the big crazy people that are getting touted all the time. They'll make a couple $100, and guess what? Your nudes are still out there. That life-ruining decision has been made and is out there in the ether forever to bite you in the ass when you least expect it. And now, let's see. Trent, Jake, do you watch NFL? I do not watch the NFL. Every once in a while, if my team is in the Super Bowl, but other than that, no.
You think?
What is she gonna do when she's no longer on OnlyFans?
Yeah, because you've only got a couple years.
There's a lot there. There's a lot there. You're right? She could have had an entire career as a doctor, helped out thousands and thousands of people, right? Made an impact on thousands and thousands of more.
I do want to just jump in here and reiterate one more time. Craig, PhD is not MD. It's entirely possible she was going to have a total worthless PhD. It's very likely, in fact, that she was going to have a completely, totally worthless, completely valueless PhD doctorate in some, lesbian dance theory. Whatever your throwaway bullcrap major, minor college course is. Very likely it was more in that direction than it was, I'm going to be an oncologist research scientist. I'm going to be researching the cure for cancer and saving thousands of lives. It's probably not the case.
With their family members and stuff. But she's going the cheap route. She's going the route of what's the fastest way to a lot of money really quick. And
this is the other side of it. I think we need to be much more cognizant of the fact that OnlyFans is not that. It seems like it because you hear all the stories of the big, huge OnlyFans creators that make millions of dollars, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in an incredibly short amount of time. Those are the unicorns. Those are the unicorns in the same way that becoming an A-list actor is a unicorn. How many people in LA are actors? Basically everybody. Basically everybody hopes to get an agent, hopes to get discovered, hopes to be the next big thing. And the amount of people that actually do it, even just to survive, even are capable of making a living as an actor, are minuscule. So the amount of people that are going to make big, serious money on OnlyFans, especially with the ecosystem being as saturated as it is even more minuscule. Plus, the decision to do it means that you have that sword of Damocles hovering over your neck for the rest of your life. Even if it has no mental effects, which I think it does for most women who are doing this, it's still going to be, okay, well, if I ever have kids, or if I ever want to get a husband, or if I ever want to do anything, I hope that, the job interview doesn't use some kind of deep research ChatGPT and ends up finding, me spreading my cheeks on the interwebs because I did that and I didn't make the amount of money that I wanted to. I couldn't retire on that. So now I got to get a job as, a barista or whatever the hell. These kinds of things. This is the thing that needs to be pushed more about OnlyFans, is that it's not a good bet.
I think, you're going to see more and more of this from YouTubers.
Have you noticed that the rise of female empowerment has also equaled the amount of whoring that's also happening? That has, that's what they've done with their power, is whoring.
1,000%. 1,000%. But then you see,
No, genuine question though. Her OnlyFans, what is it, right? Because there's some people on OnlyFans who literally just show hair, long hair, and they brush the hair, and it's the weirdest shit, right? But they just do that. They don't do anything, no stripping, no none of that. Some people just sell feet pictures on there. There's a whole bunch of categories. So what?
That is a good point. I will say that is an absolutely good point. You can have an OnlyFans in the same way that you can do, a YouTube channel or something like that, where you are kind of cashing in on your sexuality, but you're not doing anything that's going to be able to be held over you for the rest of your days. That's kind of the only way to do it in a way that I think would allow you to sleep at night, either from not being a whore and not being worried that at any moment someone can throw those pics to your family and you lose all respect from your mom, your dad, your brothers, your cousins, whatever. That's kind of the only way to do it. However, I will say it also does kind of feed into the OnlyFans mental problems, which is you're commodifying yourself. You're only there, your only existence that is valuable is your body and sexuality as a commodity. That's what you are selling. You're not selling any kind of creativity. You're not selling any kind of, worthwhile endeavor. It's just you as a piece of meat on display.
She exactly doing for us to get the full context?
My guess it's the full thing, because
The
otherwise
full
she
thing?
would have been doing the PhD with it. If you're just showing feet pics or whatever, brushing her hair, I think she's going the full Monty on this one, basically.
Yeah, well then, if that's the case, that's kind of a shame, really, because what are you gonna do after?
I think this person's right? This person, I don't know who these people are, but Sophie Rain is only 20 years old and is ranked in $80 million in 2 years on OnlyFans. She's 20. She's been doing it since she was 18. And it's going to be nearly impossible to convince younger women to avoid OnlyFans when the money is this is not life.
Yeah, which is why I think the story needs to be the money is not life-changing, okay? If you are not being offered life-changing money on the street already, you're not going to get life-changing money on OnlyFans. You'll get a little bit, maybe, but it's basically oh yeah, I upgraded from McDonald's to Five Guys. That was my OnlyFans bump. That's what it's going to be for the vast majority of people. And it is insanely difficult for us to separate this. We always make these arguments hey, all right, someone offered you $100 million. I'm sucking it. And that's a joke, but it is also totally accurate for most people. If you're offered $100 million, all right, I would, I offer you $100 million to cut off a finger. Are you going to do it? Yeah, you're going to do it. 100%. It's not even a question. You're yeah, of course. There's always a line, but for most people, that line is very nebulous, and until you approach it, you don't know what it is. And then most of the time you find out and you go, oh no, I actually crossed the line that I wanted to already. So I might as well just keep going.
Changing money. This is generational money.
Yep.
Maybe.
$80 million, $40 million a year? $750,000 a week?
You know how many fatties Flash will have to sleep with for that?
Ooh, Flash. Would you?
$80 million is a lot of money.
Yeah.
All right, let's start low. $50? Are you like good for 50?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
But this goes back though. Like, and Arch said this, right? This is also another thing. I don't know who this person is, Lil Tay, but apparently she turned 18 and she made $1 million in 3 hours.
Ew.
There was a good point somebody made. Like, she probably filmed that content, or I don't know what she posted, but it was probably before she turned 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yes, absolutely disgusting.
Which is probably true. Ugh.
I don't know, Blabs. You're older now at this point, right? You're in your late 20s, right?
Huh.
32 years old.
Well, Blabs, you have morals, and I appreciate that about you.
Shout out.
To almost to a point to where they're annoying, right? You have your standards. You have your standards, and it's a pain in the ass sometimes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
All I'm saying, just go to fucking Olive Garden. Anyways, with that said, you are an 18-year-old right now in the world, right? Let's just say you have the exact same following you have right now, but one path is a grind it out on YouTube and hope to make some money, or grind it out on OnlyFans and have instant success, right? What amount of money, Blabs?
So here's the thing. He's correct, but I have seen this as, like, when I was doing ASMR, I encountered this. It's not you make a choice. I'm going that route of integrity and principle. I'm not going to sacrifice that for anything. I'm abandoning that path. No. That path is there the whole time. That path is there the entire time. Anytime you want to, there's a couple people who are ready to give you cash money. Absolutely. And when that YouTube stuff slows down, when, you lose that bump from that one video that was doing really well, once that tapers off, oh man, I think I'm stalled out. I think it's not really working anymore. If someone's offering you that alternate path with immediate rewards, eventually you're going to go, well, I can dip my toe. I can dip a toe. It's no big deal. I can always pull back. But you dip a toe and it's not that bad, and you did make the money. So you go, well, okay, I'll refocus on my YouTube. That's what I want to do. That's what, I want to maintain those principles and integrity, and I didn't really compromise myself. So I'll keep going on that. I'll keep going. Ooh, I hit another rough patch. I can dip a toe again. Well, you can't just dip a toe now. That guy's done. Now you gotta go full ankle, calf. Go up to your butt. Oh, all of a sudden, you might as well just jump in. And once you do, there's no coming back. And it's always there. That temptation is always there. And it takes a very strange, uber moral person to completely ignore that as an even option. And that's kind of the only way you can get around it, is it's never a possibility that I would go down that path. It's not even a path for me. I don't see it. It's not there.
Would it take, if you were in that situation, if someone's like, I can guarantee you $1 million a year.
It's not just a simple answer like that, because the way I am is because of my parents, right? So, like, They would never raise me ever to be in that position that I am just whoring myself out even at 18. Like that was not even the case when I was 18, like not at all. So yeah, I can't really fathom ever doing this kind of shit. Shout out mom and dad, thank you.
Yeah, dude, let's go mom and dad, let's go. Love to see that. Love to see that. And yeah, that's great. I mean, that's exactly, hopefully, the response that everybody has. But unfortunately, there are a lot of girls who don't have that.
Yeah, broken families.
Yeah, broken. They got.
It's not even broken. It's not, again, I know we like to look at this and we like to, denigrate these people, and maybe they deserve it. But a lot of this is literally just, I've got a risk reward calculator in my brain. The long-term stuff is nebulous, iffy, not a big deal. And therefore, what's the risk? And I was like, I guess maybe I don't make as much money as I want to. Okay, well, that's a risk I'm willing to take, especially for this giant, huge reward that I'm almost certainly guaranteed, right? Except you're not actually guaranteed that reward. But again, it takes a kind of willful insanity to ignore that possibility of reward. And unfortunately, we have totally lost that, because I think that willful insanity comes along with like kind of religious values in these types of things, like the faith, the moral certitude of being in a community of faith. That's it's been just blown away.
Got daddy issues, whatever, mama issues, parent issues. They lack self-confidence, and the best way for them to be confident is to make $1 million in 3 hours.
That's just like borderline super duper creepy, because like, is it like as soon as she turned 18? Like, what does that mean? Like 6 months after she turned 18? Like she turned 18, the next day she goes on OnlyFans? Like, what does that mean? That is creepy as hell. Ugh.
It's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting, and
not good.
Shame on all these freaks who are dropping $1 million in 3 hours, who are probably hoping that she took the picture before 12:01 or whatever it was. Whenever she. Yeah. Oh, it's just disgusting. So, anyways, what a mess. And I agree with that lady. There's going to be a point where this generational amount of money is going to be incredibly hard for people to move past and to ignore. Sucks. The degradation of society. Graham says, Craig, she's helping thousands of men with ED. I mean, she's also contributing to adult content addiction. But hey, we're splitting hairs here. Thank you, Graham. We're growing.
Yeah. And then in a similar vein, Asmongold is saying a similar thing.
Am I able to watch this?
She sent my mom my fans link.
And this is the consequences. This is the immediate consequences. And he's also touching on some fun stuff here, which is the rewards are not guaranteed.
The title of this post is "The Dildo of Consequences Rarely Comes Lubed."
She sent my mom my Fansly and a picture of me doing a picture of me sucking a
succulent Chinese meal.
And it's my fault.
Good save.
Because she's saying my cousins were looking up my pictures. Like my male older cousins, they were looking me up. And I said, why the fuck aren't we asking them why the fuck they're looking at me? Why is everyone saying like, oh, it's me? Why is it always me? Why the fuck is it always me?
I do want to say that watch the beginning of this clip. Listen to the words that are said.
She sent my mom my Fansly.
Remember what I said before about how there are no greater haters for women than other women? One of the big problems that I think that these girls starting an OnlyFans, you're probably not thinking of the consequences that, what if you make an OnlyFans and the only people who subscribe to it are your distant family members? Let me see. I think there was like a tweet that I saw about this, of these girls that are like massively successful, but what you don't see are all of the girls that, they make $200 for a few months and then they don't make any more money besides that, and everybody who knows them personally is trading around their nudes. And so I think that's
many such cases.
Really one of the big differences between this versus like Twitch streaming or something like that, right? I think that's a huge fucking difference. So watch this.
Not really. Everybody hears about all the Twitch streamers, all the YouTube people that make tons of money, and no one talks about the people that are making zero money and just grinding it out day after day, nonstop. Subscribe.
Me, the day I turned 18, I'm going to start an OnlyFans so I can move out and get rich. There it is. $280 a month.
Hate videos.
Still with your parents? Yep. Oh, yeah. And so there it is, such a risk. It's a massive risk. And there's a huge survivorship bias that happens with it. And the point that I'm making about this is that a lot of these girls don't realize that by starting an OnlyFans and by doing this, you are crossing a threshold that after you do it, that's pretty much about it.
And that is, I think, the real solution to this problem. It's not, oh man, we're going to ban OnlyFans. We're going to blow up that site. We're going to make sure that porn is illegal. That's stupid. It's not going to work. It's never going to happen. Okay? What you need to do is make sure that people understand that the odds that you're going to succeed in this venture is essentially zero. And therefore, the rewards become way less attractive because the odds of you getting them is non-existent. And the odds of bad stuff happening, if you do cross that threshold, as has been said, is almost 100%. So that's the way you actually end this. You don't shaming people. It's great. It might work, but probably, in all honesty, yeah, for hundreds of millions of dollars, if I get shamed, I don't care. But if I get shamed and I make nothing out of it, yeah, I'm probably not going to do anything. But you know what's going to be the deciding factor there? Me getting something or not. Not the shame. It's, am I potentially making millions of dollars? Yeah, and I'm like, then all comers can come. I don't care. All right. So let's see. So we got a couple articles I want to go. All right. This is the one that we wanted to get into. Let's see. Okay. We actually were moving a little bit quicker than I thought. So I think we probably will end up watching these other videos before we get into this game, because I'm not sure how good this game's going to be. And I don't want another scenario like last time where I was basically just like, I just hated playing the game. Granted that we did then get into Magic the Gathering, which is fun. But I don't know how much people enjoy me playing it, because I'm not good at the game. Trump is privately mulling how to declare pot a less dangerous drug. So I'm assuming what we're talking about here is, removing it from the Schedule 1. Which it is ridiculous that it was ever a Schedule 1 drug. It's the only, non-super addictive, super destructive drug on the Schedule 1 schedule. It should be lower down. Absolutely, that's true. But, I mean, most places have, legalized it or done things to it that have basically just made it, non-criminal. And I know that a lot of people are basically going to be looking at this and saying, okay, that's great that, we don't have non-violent offenders arrested all the time for, this bullcrap thing that everybody does. And that's crowding up prisons, and it's making, this prisons more violent, and the non-violent offenders come out, they're institutionalized, and therefore they're not able to get jobs. And they're also, mentally traumatized from their time in prison. So they come out and recidivism's huge. And they're probably going to do worse stuff after being incarcerated than they would ever have done before. That's a very reasonable argument for why we should decriminalize it. And look, absolutely, I am in favor of decriminalizing it. But I will also say I've kind of come around to the idea that having these drugs in society, in large, completely, not even unregulated, but just uncontested, is not necessarily a good thing for society at large. I do still lean libertarian on this, where I would say, look, I don't think the government should be involved in this because I don't think they do a good job at it. But I will also say, I think there's probably more of a space for people saying, yeah, you shouldn't be doing this, than I previously would have. Over a recent dinner at his private Bedminster, New Jersey club, as President Donald Trump recounted his move against the country's top economic statistician and riffed on New York City politics, the conversation turned to a politically potent issue still in flux, loosening federal restrictions on marijuana. We need to look at that. Trump acknowledged the small gathering of donors, according to 2 people in attendance. That's something we're going to look at. I think that's reasonable. It's an easy, obvious issue. The vast majority of the country would support it. So, yeah, why not get some easy brownie points by looking into it, changing it? I don't know if it's necessarily something that he really feels strongly about. My guess is no. But, if it's an obvious winning issue, he's very happy to take a layup. Nearly a year ago, Trump suggested his return to the White House would usher in a new era for marijuana, one that would make it easier for adults to access safe products and give states greater leeway to pursue legalization, which they're already doing in most states. Maybe not most states, but a lot of them. He signaled support for removing marijuana from the same legal category as dangerous narcotics like heroin, which is what I said, it shouldn't be a Schedule I drug. The pronouncement set him apart from many of his Republican predecessors and came as Trump courted younger Americans, minority groups, and libertarian-leaning voters. But 7 months into his second term, Trump's inaction so far on marijuana remains a notable, unkept commitment by a president who has acted swiftly on other campaign pledges. Behind the scenes, the issue has exposed sharp fault lines within Trump's team. Trump's top political advisors, who have led an aggressive push to check off campaign promises, have urged action, according to 2 people familiar with the internal discussions. They have argued that such a move could help bolster Republican support ahead of the midterm elections. Other policy advisors, though, remain wary, cautioning that the moral and legal ramifications of loosening marijuana restrictions could outweigh the potential gains and even backfire politically. I don't think that's true. I don't think it's possible that this backfires politically. I think this can backfire societally. I think that's a possibility, wherein which, in the same way that, if you legalize, like alcohol's already legal, right? Yeah. But we have laws on the books to make it so that it's not a nonstop societal menace. There's a lot of drinking in public laws. There's a lot of public intoxication laws. There's a lot of things that, are completely common sense, like, hey, you can't drink and drive, right? Now, a lot of those laws can probably be amended or, utilized to safely enforce or police marijuana use, but it's also entirely possible that, no, it doesn't count. It's only specifically for alcohol, and therefore we need to make a whole bunch of new laws legislating for marijuana. And, I think a lot of them are, again, kind of, like I said, common sense. Can't drink and drive, that makes sense. That's completely reasonable. You're endangering other people by, your altered state, putting other people's lives in jeopardy. That's reasonable. I think everyone agrees with that, right? Politically speaking, I don't think Trump, I think people would try to blame him for anything that happened. I think the exact same thing would happen no matter who's in charge, because the opposition's always looking to score points against them. I don't think actually Trump wears that. If he were to decriminalize it, if he takes it off the Schedule I stuff and says, at the very, all he really has to say is, yeah, we'll take it off Schedule I and the states can do what they want. That's it. That's all he has to say. And then he gets all the credit for being a campaign promise realizer and wears none of the negative side effects of it. Okay? Would there be negative side effects? Probably. But I don't know if they're long-term or if they would be, just like, okay, all of a sudden, this thing's out of prohibition. Bam, there's a huge giant upswing. And then it dies down. Like, okay, hey, we got it out of our system. We were super excited to be able to smoke weed on the streets. And then we stopped doing that. That's fine. I think that's probably much more likely the case. So I don't think it's a long-term societal issue, but I could easily be wrong. Other policy advisors, in a statement to CNN, White House spokeswoman Abigail Jackson said that when it comes to marijuana, all policy and legal requirements and implications are being considered. The only interest guiding the president's policy decision is what is in the best interest of the American people. Mixed signals. Intensifying deliberations are happening as mixed signals are being telegraphed publicly on what Trump might do next. Scott's Miracle-Gro's CEO James Hagedorn told Fox Business last week that Trump has privately assured him and others multiple times that he plans to reclassify marijuana to a less controlled category of substances. The 157-year-old lawn and garden giant has become a leader in the nascent cannabis industry, hilarious, with a fast-growing hydroponics business that Federal Election Commission record shows donated $500,000 to a Trump-aligned super PAC last year. But reforming marijuana policy was noticeably absent from the top objectives recently published by Trump's newly installed head of the Drug Enforcement Administration, Terrence Cole. I think that's reasonable. It's because his main policy objective there is fentanyl, because I think fentanyl is a way more immediate problem. Yeah, if like, okay, marijuana in the states where it's non-decriminalized stays relatively criminalized, yeah, okay, some people get arrested that, I don't want arrested, but if fentanyl keeps, flooding the streets and killing people in droves and addicting people in mass, yeah, that's a hugely bigger problem, and therefore it needs to be tackled with much more energy and concentration. That seems very obvious. Hagedorn said Cole's recent cannabis snub wasn't surprising, coming from a career law enforcement guy. Now, maybe that's true. I think what Cole needs to hear is a call from the president or the chief of staff saying, this is a promise he made during the campaign, and promises made are promises kept, he told Fox Business. Again, maybe he's got that. Maybe Trump is like, yeah, we want this done. But yeah, obviously you've only got so many resources. If you need or can better serve this objective by attributing 100% of your resources to fentanyl, do it. Okay? We'll leave marijuana on the back burner. That's fine. I think that's completely reasonable. That promise from Trump, as Hagedorn cast it, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, arrived in a social media message last year during the closing months of his presidential campaign, where he was aggressively pushing to expand his coalition beyond traditional GOP voters, which he succeeded in doing. Writing on Truth Social in September, Trump announced he intended to vote for a ballot measure to legalize recreational marijuana in his home state of Florida. Trump then added that as president, he would continue to focus on research to unlock the medical uses of marijuana to a Schedule III drug. Okay, I think that's reasonable. Marijuana is currently classified as a Schedule I drug, which is ridiculous. The federal category for illicit substances with no currently accepted medical use and a high potential for abuse. Now, the high potential for abuse thing is interesting. Most people say, no, it's not, because it's not as physically addictive as a heroin. Yeah, that's true. That's accurate. But can you honestly tell me there's no potential for abuse? There is. There definitely is. In the same way that, alcohol has potential for abuse. For certain people, yeah, even if it's not physically hooking them in the same way that, a heroin or a crack cocaine does, it's still going to, habituate itself in your brain. And for some people, that's plenty. That's plenty enough to be addictive. All right? If people are going to honestly tell me that porn is addictive, that sex can be addictive, that, any of these other things that are just simple, dopamine, serotonin releasers can be addictive, then hell yeah, marijuana can be addictive. Okay? Now, no currently accepted medical use, obviously that's bullshit. That's clearly, yeah, there's plenty of good accepted medical use for this stuff. All right? Moving it to Schedule III, which the DEA defines as drugs with a moderate to low potential for physical and psychological dependence, is something Trump has said he supports. I think that's reasonable. Reclassifying it instead of high potential, it's moderate. That's a reasonable, bar to set for this stuff. I think that's reasonable. As I have previously stated, I believe it is time to end needless arrests and incarceration of adults for small amounts of marijuana for personal use. Again, this is an 80-20 issue. 80% of people agree with him. Why not take the easy win? He should, and he probably will. He even discussed the topic with Joseph Edgar Foreman, the pro-pot rapper better known as Afroman, when the two both appeared last summer at the Libertarian Party convention in Washington, D.C. Momentum stalled under Biden. For a time, it seemed change could come before the 2024 election. In 2022, President Joe Biden ordered the Departments of Justice and Health and Human Services to review whether marijuana should be reclassified. Now, again, this is politician covering your ass type stuff, which is great, except it does mean that stuff doesn't get done. Okay? I don't think there needed to be a new study on whether or not this should be reclassified. I think most people can just see the writing on the wall and can go, okay, instead of reviewing this, we can just try to move this forward. Maybe we encounter a whole bunch of resistance, in which case, hey, we tried, great, whatever, time's not right for it. But you can take credit for trying to move things forward. The next year, HHS recommended moving marijuana to Schedule 3, and in 2024, the Department of Justice initiated a new rule to codify the proposal. Biden called the move monumental and a major step, but momentum stalled and Biden left office before the rule could be finalized. Sounds like he could have finalized it if he really wanted to. A hearing the DEA scheduled for the day after Trump took office was canceled and hasn't been rescheduled. Okay, that's reasonable. I mean, the new guy came into office. I guess that would be okay if the old Biden, if Biden had, or I guess Harris in this case, had won, the schedule remains the same because the agenda is essentially the same. Trump comes in, agenda changes because it's a new agenda, and therefore, the schedule is going to change. That's reasonable. In her statement, Jackson, the White House spokeswoman, noted that the current administration is still contending with the process initiated under Biden. One White House official suggested that executive action is unlikely until that is settled. The DEA did not respond to questions from CNN. Trump's remark at the recent Bedminster donor dinner underscored the expectation that the president, not anyone else, will ultimately decide whether to overhaul decades of marijuana policy in the United States. Again, this is not a good thing that unfortunately Congress does nothing. Congress will not make a move on anything. They are very happy to just let the president rule by decree. I don't like that. You have the ability to check and balance him. You also have the ability and the right and duty to make legislation. You should be doing that. You should be being the legislative branch. You should not have the president making all of these decisions. But if no one in Congress is going to do it, it makes no sense to think that the president won't. Privately, the White House has spent months researching whether and how to move ahead. Chief of Staff Susie Wiles requested affected agencies to weigh in, and their responses, compiled by Trump's Domestic Policy Council, now sit in a report on her desk. Two people with knowledge of the report told CNN. Now, it's probably not necessarily on her desk. That's like a figure of speech. A no-brainer move. One issue raised in ongoing deliberations is whether reclassifying marijuana would undermine law enforcement abilities to use the smell of marijuana as probable cause for stops and searches. No. I mean, if you smell alcohol in someone's breath, that's probable cause. You can search and seizure someone. Okay, so smell of marijuana would be the exact same. Am I wrong? Any police officers in the chat not able to stop and frisk someone who is reeking of whiskey? For Trump, whose tough on crime platform has emphasized empowering police to pursue drug offenders, that concern could emerge as a flashpoint. Then there's Trump's personal views. While Trump's public posture on marijuana use has softened in recent years, he remains a known teetotaler whose opinions on drug use were dramatically shaped by his late brother's alcohol addiction. Not surprising. In remarks captured on video in 2018, Trump shared other unproven concerns about the drug. In Colorado, they have more accidents. It does cause an IQ problem. Okay. An IQ problem? Does it actually lower your IQ long term? Probably not. I haven't seen any studies that say that. My guess is no. However, does it impair your, ability to think and reason? If you're high, in the same way that, it impairs your ability to think and reason if you're drunk. Yeah, for sure. That's the thing. So he's not in it. He doesn't know this stuff. He doesn't care. And obviously, if you're a teetotaler, you're going to lean on the side of drugs are bad. I get it. Proponents of a change have been publicly and privately urging Trump to commit to rescheduling marijuana, arguing it would open research opportunities, create jobs, and give clarity to millions of patients in states that have legalized medical marijuana, including many veterans. Again, I guess how many places are getting raided by the DEA, like federal agencies, that are legal in certain states? I know that happened under Obama like crazy. I don't see it happening a ton under Trump. I think some of that is because a lot of states have just straight up like legalized it, and there's less of public outcry for federal agencies to go after these places. I haven't seen it. Maybe it's happening, but I haven't seen it. In April, CNN reported that a group backed by the cannabis industry, American Rights and Reform PAC, aired pro-marijuana ads specifically targeting Trump's TVs at the White House and Mar-a-Lago. Hilarious. The PAC also donated $1 million in March to MAGA Inc., a Trump-aligned super PAC. Recent FEC records show. In 2024, the marijuana company Trulieve and the U.S. Cannabis Council contributed a combined $1 million to Trump's inauguration. Other influential voices have urged action as well. Podcaster Joe Rogan, a key supporter during the presidential campaign, reiterated his call to legalize marijuana on his show last month. And Alex Brusewitz, the Gen Z Trump advisor who spearheaded the Republicans' courtship of young men last year, has also taken to social media lately to urge for a policy change on marijuana, suggesting it has widespread support. He called rescheduling marijuana a no-brainer. Again, I agree with that. Nearly 60% of Americans support legalization of recreational marijuana, against just 11% of people who think it shouldn't be legal for any purpose. So this is very clearly like an 80-20 issue. This is everybody can get behind this. There's a small group of people that don't like it, and we don't really necessarily care about their opinion because the vast majority of people would support this. I get it. Recent polls suggest that the president is at risk of losing support among young men as Rogan and other manosphere influencers grow disenchanted by Trump's return to Washington. I'm not totally sure if those polls say what they think they're saying. A high-profile change in marijuana policy could provide an avenue to win them back. In a memo reported by CNN earlier this year, top Trump pollster Tony Fabrizio and his partners wrote that changing marijuana policy was an easy way to attract the voters needed to win in 2026, particularly young voters. Now, if that's true, they literally could just be holding this as a card in their hands for closer to 2026 for the election season, where they can go, oh yeah, we can do it now when it's much more visible, it's in people's minds. The Republicans are on the side of legalizing marijuana. That's a cool issue that I like. I'll vote for a Republican this time. That's totally reasonable, right? That's something politicians do. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that happening. Alrighty. We can call this our last article. I was actually just curious about this. Not necessarily particularly about the Fantastic Four. Much more so just about, in general, how blasted and bloated all of these Hollywood movies are, to the degree that they all need to make what would have been, like 20 years ago, insane, record-breaking, the most unbelievable box office numbers of all time ever. The once in a century successes. Now every single movie they make has to make that amount of money just to break even. The Fantastic Four: First Steps had an incredible opening at the box office. I don't think it did. I think it was like on track. I don't think it outdid any expectations. But with a 66% drop in its second weekend, and I will say this, I saw it, 3-4 days ago? It was me, my brother, my dad, and one other person in the theater. It was like let's call it a 100-seat theater. Big theater. It was the middle of the day, but still, one other person in the theater. That was it. Okay? So 66%, that might even be a low estimate, to be honest. That might be underestimating it. You might be wondering, is it considered a success? To answer the question, we need to look at its budget. I can kind of tell you without even looking at its budget, yeah, it's not a success. And it's probably on track to be a loser. Even though it's really, I think, a pretty decent movie. Not my favorite. I actually like Thunderbolts more than Fantastic Four, as I think more on it. But it was decent. 6 years ago, the Marvel Cinematic Universe was at its zenith. Well, what happens at its zenith? There's a drop. Avengers Endgame shattered records, achieving the $1 billion milestone in just 5 days and becoming the second highest grossing movie of all time, beaten only by Avatar. Not necessarily the most profitable movie of all time, and I believe highest grossing does just look at gross numbers. Does not necessarily look at inflation-adjusted numbers. I could be wrong on that, but I believe that's true. It proved that audiences were still hungry for superhero epics. Well, this is at the height of the superhero craze. Still hungry? Sure. It's been what, though? 6 years ago? It feels like more than that. It feels like 10 years ago. But in the years since, despite several successes, the MCU has struggled to capture the same cultural dominance, with titles like Ant-Man 3, Quantumania, The Marvels, and Secret Invasion signaling an end to its reigning area. Okay, each one of these, the only thing that was worse than these, I didn't watch Secret Invasion, was Thor: Love and Thunder. These are the worst movies they put out. These are the worst things they put out. Although also, She-Hulk was terrible. Although also, you know what? Yeah, everything they put out in the interim was terrible. So of course, I mean, you know, you have this huge giant peak, and then you follow it with absolute dog shit. Yeah, people are going to go away. They're going to lose it. Especially if a large part of the way in which they're bad is it's crapping on this stuff that brought you in that you like. Oh man, Tony Stark, he basically is just a rich guy. The only way he succeeded in making this Iron Man suit was because he was a billionaire. Is that what happened? I don't remember that. He was in a cave and built it with scraps, right? I feel like that was a line in the movie. Riri Williams, Ironheart. Then came Marvel's First Family by rebooting one of the franchise's most iconic teams with an all-star cast to match. All-star. Pedro Pascal is a star. I don't think he should be. I think he needs to be. He was the worst part of the movie for me. I couldn't see him as anything other than Pedro Pascal. He's in too much stuff. I can't see him as a character anymore. He's just an actor. And he's not like a cool actor who's in like a Will Smith back in the day. You were like, you know what? I like this guy. Pedro Pascal, I don't like Pedro Pascal. So seeing him as an actor and not a character is a massive, massive detractor to having him in a movie. There were hopes it would reverse superhero fatigue alongside the arrival of the DCU's Superman. So how does it stack up? The Fantastic Four: First Steps break-even point. Firstly, let's consider how much it needs to make at the box office with an estimated budget of $200 million. I think, is that it? Just $200 million? It needs to draw in approximately $500 million minimum. I think that's probably a low estimate. I think it was probably a higher budget, and I think you probably would need more to break even. How do we get to that figure? Well, the rule of thumb is that new movies need to make approximately 2.5 times their original budget to break even due to the additional costs such as fees to exhibitors, merchandising, and taxes. The $200 million sum is the estimated production budget, meaning there are also marketing costs to consider, which for Marvel blockbusters can exceed $100 million. In fact, I've even seen things that basically say, like, whatever the budget is for the production, that's basically what they spend on marketing. Plus, studios only keep about 50 to 60% of box office revenue, and even less from international markets. Even if First Steps makes $500 million, this still isn't a huge return on investment for the MCU, especially when considering the profits made during the pre-Endgame era. The Fantastic Four box office total, as of August 4th, 2025, the Fantastic Four First Steps has made just over $198 million in the US and $170 million internationally, bringing its total box office haul to $368.7 million. The film had a fantastic opening at the box office, earning nearly $218 million globally in its first weekend, $118 million of which came from North America, which outpaces other 2025 MCU blockbusters. What other MCU I think it's just Thunderbolts? I think literally just Thunderbolts. Which had, for me, like no marketing. I didn't see anything for Thunderbolts. I saw a ton of marketing for Fantastic Four. Maybe that was just me. Maybe the algorithm just thought I'd be more interested in Fantastic Four than Thunderbolts, which would be reasonable. But I did not see the amount of marketing budget, like throughput, for Thunderbolts that I did for Fantastic Four. Thunderbolts, for instance, grossed $76 million. Oh, right. And $162 million in its first 3 days. Captain America Brave New World. That was the other one. Right. Shocking. I forgot about that one. Captain America Brave New World made $88.8 million domestically and $92.4 million from overseas racism, bringing its debut total to just over $181 million. This is actually, I mean, obviously everyone says Captain America Brave New World was a terrible movie. Thunderbolts, again, if you like classic Marvel movies, Thunderbolts is kind of actually good. I liked it. Captain America, no. Don't give me any of that. I don't want anything to do with it. The Fantastic Four's opening was only just beaten by James Gunn's Superman, which earned $125 million domestically and $95 million internationally. That's interesting, because Superman's a pretty universal character. He usually does pretty well overseas, bringing its total to $220 million in those first 3 days. We know what that probably is. It probably is the sort of like demoralization of sort of the American dream and these types of things. It's been denigrated and beaten down so often that it's no longer this aspirational goal that the vast majority of the rest of the world can look to and say, yeah, I want to live like an American. We've just been pumped full of so much stuff that says, like, no, the American dream is terrible, America's awful, America bad, America bad, such that now other countries are like, oh man, I'm not seeing the same hopeful glint in the eyes of all of these Americans. So you know what? Superman, an American hero, I guess he's not as cool as I once thought. One 2025 release it didn't beat by far is Disney's Lilo and Stitch live-action remake, which smashed box office records with the $341 million box office haul, $183 million of which came from domestic sales during the 4-day holiday weekend. Obviously, even more so than that, dinosaurs, Jurassic Park World or whatever it is, That did even better. Yeah, the Lilo and Stitch that's rough, but it's a kids movie. You know, it's drawing from a very specific number of people that are not attracted to these other movies. Similarly, a Minecraft movie made $163 million in North America and $150.7 million from international markets, bringing its opening earnings to over $313 million. So despite First Step's strong start, it's now trailing far behind these other titles. First Steps stumbles in its second weekend. The Fantastic Four's First Steps earned $40 million at the domestic box office over its second weekend, marking a 66% drop. That's more accurate. This isn't unusual for superhero flicks, with other titles experiencing even higher drop-offs during their sophomore theatrical month, including The Marvels, terrible, 78%, because it was terrible. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, 70%, because it was terrible. Captain America Brave New World, 68%, it was terrible. Black Widow, not good, but like no one cared about it because it's Black Widow. She's already dead. We know how her story ends. So it was just that's not a result of the movie being bad. That's a result of only crazy super Marvel fans that have to see everything saw it. Thor: Love and Thunder, horrible. Probably, in all honesty, the worst movie they ever made. Given the figure it needs to break even, First Steps won't be reaching the heights of the pre-Endgame MCU. But that doesn't mean the outlook is bleak. The studio is likely banking on First Steps to lay the groundwork for bigger payoffs in the next phase. Yeah, but they do want to make their money back. As analyst Jeff Bach of Exhibitor Relations told Variety, Fantastic Four is not a top-tier Marvel franchise. Never has been. Remember, this ramps up into Avengers. That's the real payoff. Fantastic Four is not a top-tier Marvel franchise? No, that's not true. This is why there's been how many Fantastic Four movies before this one? There was the Chris Evans, Jessica Alba Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, or whatever it was, Silver Surfer. Then there's Fan4stick, and now there's this. Okay, that's a lot of movies. That's more than there have been Superman movies. Okay, so it kind of is a top-tier Marvel franchise. Kind of is. Okay, plus we've got Spider-Man Brand New Day coming up, which is expected to be another box office juggernaut when it drops in July 2026. It's probably likely. It probably will be. It probably will be pretty good. All right. We've got, let's see where we're at. An hour and a half. Not even really. I think we will watch these videos. That should put us somewhere around 2 hours to play The King is Watching. I think that's I think that's good. I think that's a reasonable goal. All right. Microsoft is getting sued over Windows 11. Oh, please.
I noticed that everyone is changing their avatar to Clippy, and it's giving me PTSD. Because I really hate that emoji. Like every single time I wanted to start writing, like that thing popped up, annoyed the living shit out of me, and I had to constantly move the mouse. Like that takes effort, moving the mouse just to close Clippy. And I wanted to get to the bottom of it. It's like, well, who is pushing people to change their avatars into a way that triggers me? And then
it's Louis Rossmann.
I found out, and it was an interesting speech given by a fellow content creator, and he said, look, Clippy was kind of like the AI of today, you know? He was a lot dumber, wasn't as sophisticated as the modern AIs are, but Clippy actually wanted to help, you know? Like, Clippy wouldn't check your emails. Clippy wouldn't look at what's on your computer. If you wanted to write an email, like, Clippy was just there and he just wanted to help. And so Clippy was the mindset of Microsoft back then. It was a product for the convenience of the customer. And when you look at what they're doing with Windows 11, you notice why they killed Clippy. See, at first I generally thought that they killed Clippy because it's annoying, but you notice that Microsoft has no problem with annoying people.
I think they did kill it because it was annoying. Obviously, this is like, Clippy is way back in the day. Okay? There's a period of time between Clippy, oh my god, I just wanted to be helpful, and we want to do everything we can to steal all your data. Yeah, there's a period of time in between that.
Like they're perfectly okay with annoying their customers. But what they're not okay with is being useful to their customers. Like now they're only caring about how to milk their customers of money, how to enrich themselves with the customer suffering. And a good point was raised on how back in the day, if you saw people with suicidal thoughts on the internet, you notice that most individuals at least try to help. They would try to understand what the person is going through. They would try to help. Nowadays,
really,
if they see teenage girls with dark thoughts, and teenage girls are actually the demographic at risk, because like when you see someone with dark thoughts on the internet, it's usually part of that demographic, right? Like,
this is actually based on a number of statistics popularized by Jonathan Haidt and Greg Lukianoff in, like the Coddling of the American Mind and these types of things. There are some legitimate statistical objections to it that actually it doesn't show what it says it shows. There's not necessarily as good clear-cut evidence for the idea that social media has made people more depressed and anxious and these types of things than what he says. I do tend to lean towards it probably is not good for you. And it probably is making a certain segment of the population way more anxious than they would be otherwise. But it's not settled science, let's put it that way.
Like young girls between 16 and 22. And when you see them, what corporations do is that they harvest their data using AI in order to try and sell advertisements to them. And so, like, this is the new way, right? And Clippy would never do that. Like, Clippy would never look at your daughter posting her lamentations online in order to try to figure out what better corporations to link her to so that she spends her cash. Clippy was a good boy, right? And so this is why a lot of people are using Clippy as their avatar, because they're against this shit. And all of this shit, I think, can be described in 2 words. Well, actually, 1 word and a number. Windows 11. Like any person that has actually looked at what Windows 11 does would be horrified. Unironically, if you take Windows 11 and you have...
Now, here's the thing I will just say about Windows 11. If you can do it, don't upgrade. To be perfectly honest, I'm on Windows 10, I think. And I'm going to be on it for as long as possible. I was on Windows 7 before 10. Basically, you want to skip every other Windows if you can, okay? Like, you had Windows XP, and then I think you had, what was it? Windows Vista? Vista was terrible. You had Windows, what is it, like 95? And then you had, like, Windows 8 and 98, and 98 was terrible. Every other version of Windows that comes out is usually horrifically bad because they'll introduce a whole bunch of new stuff. They don't know how to do it. It's riddled with bugs, it's riddled with huge amounts of problems, and it usually is basically, it's just a test bed for their next stable version of whatever it's going to be, Windows 12. Windows 12 is what you want to get. If you can get away with staying on Windows 10 or 7, do it. Do it. If you have to upgrade, you have to upgrade. God be with you.
You have a time machine and you send it back to 2016, people in that age, they would say it's spyware. Like, they would say it's a malware. Like, their antivirus would ding. And we're like, I'm not installing this shit on my computer. And so a lot of people today, they also think we're not installing this shit on our computer. I watched the presentation and the guy there was like very happy to tell me about the new feature, Windows Recall. And usually when you hear about the new feature, you're excited, right? Like, it's, well, how is it going to serve me? Like, what is the benefit? And apparently, like, this feature is going to constantly screenshot your computer. Just like non-stop screenshotting. And I'm like, well, hold on a little bit. So you're telling me that if I have like some personal information on my computer, like a credit card, right? Or I need to dox myself. This is something that British people do as a national holiday, right? I need to dox myself for age verification, and I'm showing them my
national sport is what he was trying to say.
ID. You're telling me that Windows is screenshotting that? And the answer is yes. Yes, they're screenshotting that. Okay, fascinating, right? So what happens with those screenshots? Well, they get stored. Where? on your device. Is it safe? Well, they say it is. Does it go to Windows? Well, they say they don't. How do I know? Well, trust me, bro. Okay, so like, how trustworthy are you as a company? Well, they're so trustworthy that they're going to stop updating Windows 10 in order to convince people to go to Windows 11.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well,
Classic.
did they do this in the past?
Yeah.
You know, like when they released Windows XP, did they stop updating the previous versions of Windows? And the answer is yes, but okay, but after a while, right? Like after a while, not like the moment the new thing comes out. Like they had to wait a couple of years until people legitimately stopped using the previous versions and they moved to Windows.
Is that true? Trying to think how long it was between them. I guess that is true. Yeah, you did have like Windows 7's updates after Windows 8 was out for a while. That's true. But they did stop.
Windows XP. And so you're like, okay, that's interesting. Why the rush then? You know, if Windows 11 is such a good product, why don't they wait for people to naturally migrate to Windows 11 first before stopping the updates for Windows 10? So I think like this is the argument. It's not that you know, companies are forced to create patches for their product in perpetuity, because obviously that can't be a realistic thing. Like eventually every single thing will die off. But are you supposed to at least provide patches and updates for only like 5 or 6 more years, right? Because we're talking about a company like Microsoft. Like this is not some indie company that has just made their first operating system. You know, they made Temple OS, and now they don't have the money anymore in order to keep it running. It's like, no, it's a big corporation, and so the fact that they will not provide any more patches unless you pay the money is starting to annoy people, because what they're trying to do, and this is where the industry is going, everything has to be a subscription. Like you just don't own the thing anymore, right? And so even with Windows 10, when you're like having a physical copy of it, you have a USB with Windows 10, they will basically tell you that no, that is going to be useless. What you need to do is to pay us a subscription every single year so that you can benefit for our updates until eventually you will go to Windows 11 and use that so that we can milk you and harvest your data and try to get all the cash we can out of you. And also be a massive privacy risk, and probably work with other institutions like the British government so that we probably get some benefits from them as well while they get to spy on your computer. And so, yeah, I can see why people are upset, and the fact that finally a California man has decided to sue them, so like someone that has 2 neurons to rub together and the money to do it, goes by the name of Lawrence Klein, based in California, and according to the courthouse rules, he owns 2 Windows 10 laptops, both of which will become obsolete in October. He asserts that Microsoft is making this move to force its customers to purchase new devices optimized to run Microsoft. That's also interesting, right? Because like people are also wondering, okay, well, we're going to have a lawsuit, and the lawsuit is going to have a discovery phase, and we want to see if the hardware manufacturers don't have like backroom deals with you. Because if they do, that may be also a conflict of interest, right? The thing with Windows 10 is that you can run it on most computers, but Windows 11 you can't.
That's true.
So people that...
I will also say that's always been true. Whenever they do these upgrades, the operating systems, generally speaking, like I said, every other one is terrible. So the terrible ones are also terrible because they just tend to be bloated. They tend to be really badly programmed. And that means that you need massively more powerful equipment to run them because they are so inefficient. And it does mean that, a lot of times you need to get new computers. So again, if you can, stick with 10.
Are now going to have to update, and you may say, well, like what type of person doesn't have a modern computer? Well, there's a lot of companies that don't, right? Because you gotta understand, like if you have a business, you're not interested in...
Dude, I think, like the majority of these like huge giant corporations probably are running like Windows 7. I think my cousin works on something that's running like Windows NT.
Having like the state-of-the-art gaming PC, Let's say you have a call center, like you're interested in having computers that work and do the job required. No more nor less. And so if you have to change like 100 PCs in order to update them so they fit Windows 11, that's a huge investment.
It's enormous.
That isn't needed.
Yeah.
Like, it's not required. This is not because the market is demanding. It's because like the company is forcing you to. Like when they released Windows 10, had they said, oh yeah, by the way, like at some point we're going to make Windows 11 and we're going to charge you money to keep Windows 10, maybe a lot of people wouldn't have bought Windows 10. You know, like that's what people are upset. It's like changing the terms after you purchase the product. Clippy wouldn't do that. He would never. Upgrading to Windows 11 from Windows 10 is currently free, but millions of devices are barred from doing this. Microsoft states that this is a non-negotiable requirement for all future Windows versions, so devices do not have these installed aren't eligible for upgrade. You can bypass this requirement, but doing so means your computer is not officially supported. Yeah, I hope he wins. I don't know what will happen, but I hope that the judges have the same level of disdain and the same level of distaste toward Microsoft that the general population does. And so I hope that he manages to win in court. Would be great. Let me know what you guys think.
Yeah, that would be cool. Don't know if it's going to happen. Microsoft has a bunch of good lawyers. They're very well versed. Let's put it that way. All right, we've got this other one. Young people are terrified and living in Britain. I just want my every once in a while to look on the world and say, you know what? It could be worse. And generally speaking right now, that means looking towards good old UK.
They are basically terrified of living in their own country, and I don't blame them. The Adam Smith Institute has just published this new polling of young British people 18 to 30, and this is crazy, right? This is absolutely crazy. There are lots of things in here that are just awful. It shows that Britain has just gone so far off the rails. But this is the one I'm most interested in. 61% of 18 to 30-year-olds are concerned about violent crime in their area. 20% are neither concerned nor unconcerned, and only 18% are not concerned and somewhat unconcerned. So 18% like, no, there are no problems, and 61%.
This is not related at all to what he's saying. I'm just going like, this is an interesting video setup where it's like he's blown up his, things always like this, but then his thing that he's looking at is a little bit less big. I wonder if that's any good. Let me actually make it so that I'm not cutting him off. For watching videos, it's not necessarily ideal.
1% are like, yeah, I am worried about getting stabbed, basically, is what it boils down to. Because the culture we have allowed to fester amongst the youth has turned into something out of a drill rap video. Hardly what we actually want to see in this country, one might think.
Amongst the
definitely
youth,
a reflection of what is going on. And concurrent to this, you'll get people like Fraser Nelson who will be like, well, I would like to make the rather unpopular argument. This is an amazing country, and broadly speaking, there has never been a better time to live in it. Look around, man.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's true.
Fraser buttresses this with an article in the Times where he just gives us very abstract sets of data. So, for example, he leans heavily on this. So this is the crime survey that they do, which is an estimate of figures of all crime over the preceding sort of 20 years, right? Now, this, you might think, oh, wow, we've gone from over 12 million crimes to just over 4 million crimes.
Yeah.
Therefore, everything's getting better. But the thing is, this doesn't really capture what is actually happening.
Right.
Fraser is convinced that the National Crime Survey is representative of what is actually happening in the country. And I have to say, I simply don't believe it. He says this: most crimes have always gone unreported. That's why the Thatcher government set up the crime survey, asking thousands of households if they've suffered crime, and if so, what type. It shows that over the past 20 years...
Oh, so this is just a survey? Wait, what? Hang on. All survey estimated crimes excludes non-victim based crimes and fraud and computer misuse offenses. Okay, so this is just so this is not actually a record of crimes like as reported to the police. Like these are not based on police records. This is based on a survey? That is a terrible way of figuring out how many people have been victims of crimes. And it also means, okay, well, let's say we're counting crime. Are you counting each crime? Like, let's say a family that's living in a high crime neighborhood is victimized by crimes 100 times. Well, they only have one survey. So did you? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. How many crimes do we? No. We don't care about that. It's like, yeah, it happened to me like 100 times. I got robbed. I got mugged every other day walking out of the street. No. We don't care about that. We don't care about that. We just need to know yes or no. Yeah, it's a terrible survey.
Robbery is down by 60%. Bike theft and car theft have both halved. Burglary is down by 2/3, and violent crime, according to the survey, it has halved since 2005, when Tony Blair won his third term. Even he would never have dared to predict that a collapse in crime was underway. Even now, it is quite literally unbelievable, and that's only because I'm aware of what's happening around me.
Yeah.
Right. People can see what's happening around them. Let's take some examples. For example, number one, here's a 17-year-old who had apparently tried to kidnap a woman and rape her outside of a gym. Wow. Who did this at knife point. Yeah, if you're a woman, you've got some serious questions because, as you can see, reports of sexual assault have gone right through the roof. I mean, that might only be like 10% or something of this overall figure, but if the number of burglaries has gone down or the number of robberies has gone down,
that's also
I guess
true.
There's nothing.
Yeah, that's also true. Is, the gross number of things going up, like, hey, we've got way less property crime, but we've got way more violent crime. That's going to be way more societally destabilizing. That's true. That's true. Although I'll be honest, to listen to people who are talking there, it seems like property crime is on the rise too. So again, I would really have to look into how they're conducting this survey, because I think my explanation of, it's a yes or no question. Did this happen to you? Yes or no, is not a good count because it can happen to you multiple times.
To worry about the number of sexual assaults going up.
And that is generally speaking part of the pattern. Like if your house gets burglarized, you're way more likely to have your house burglarized again in the future. If your house ever gets broken into, you're like 10 times more likely to have your house broken into because someone's already broken into it. Somebody knows that it's break-inable.
Know what all of these young women are worried about. Don't you know, Fraser Nelson has pointed out that crime is overall down. Therefore, you're living in the best time to ever live in it. It must be brilliant. Don't worry about going to the gym and getting kidnapped at knife point by people like this that we've let into the country en masse, and the fact that the sexual assault numbers are skyrocketing. Don't worry about that. And then you've got knife crime. My God, knife crime is crazy in this country, right? So to 2024, there are about 50,000 between 20.
Okay, so I mean, like that, like that chart right there does show. Like, all right, like so that was that. This chart, let's see, this chart right here. This is reported by police. The other one is a survey of people. Like, how many people are gonna? Maybe it's entirely possible that the amount of people that are surveyed by this thing that are in high crime areas and therefore don't really want to answer surveys has decreased. And the amount of people that are in lower crime areas that are like, yeah, no, I've got time and the peace of mind to do a survey has gone up. So proportionally, you're biasing people that are less likely to have experienced crime than people who have. That's another issue with doing this as a survey.
To 2024, there are about 50,000 between 2023 and 2024. And as you can see, that's a significant increase from just a decade before. There was a small dip during COVID, but even then, in the middle of the lockdowns, there's still 41,000 offences involving knives. That's a real commitment, don't you think? And the high was 52,000, but as you can see, after the lockdown's been creeping back up. This is a massive problem for young people, and they know it, right? The mayor of Manchester, Greater Manchester area, has described this as a pandemic of knife crime, because of course this is up, and Greater Manchester is an absolute hive of this, but of course London is too. In fact, they have a nice map here, and it's crazy. So they point out that the numbers at the moment, again, not precise or anything, but 2024, they've got nearly 55,000 knife offences in England and Wales. And that is mad. Absolutely mad. It's going, like, that dropped during the pandemic, sure, but it's gone straight back up to where it was. And there's no particular reason things are not going to get worse, right? As you can see, most of that is in London, but London is a very, very densely populated area. 16,000. There's still nearly 5,000 in the southeast, nearly 5,000 in the east, just over 3,000 in the southwest, nearly 6,500 in the West Midlands. 6,500 in the northwest. I mean, this is mad, right? This is absolutely mad how much knife crime is happening in England and Wales. Like, when I was a kid, it was just unheard of that people would carry knives, and now it's just totally commonplace.
Maybe. Okay, it's not necessarily unheard of that you would be carrying a knife. It would just be unheard of that you would use a knife to attack somebody else. Like, I carry a knife every day. It's for opening packages and stuff, or, you know, getting things out of a shopping cart if I need to. Sometimes your quarter gets stuck in the cart and you need a pair of pliers to pull it out. So I carry a multi-tool.
Completely commonplace. Children now are carrying knives from the age of 10, I've heard. It's just not normal. Greater Manchester Police found between 23 and 24, 44 in every 100,000 under 25 experienced a knife-enabled violence with injury offences. And they got stabbed by someone, probably of their age, with a knife. Because a lot of young people are carrying knives because they feel that it's dangerous out there too. And so they feel they need to have some sort of way of defending themselves against criminals who are also carrying knives. I mean, this is absolutely mental that we have allowed this kind of culture to fester, and yet it's everywhere. This is just mental. And so for Fraser Nelson sit in his lovely house and go, well, look, actually, the number of crimes that are being reported are actually really,
it's not
really
the
low.
number of crimes that are supported. That is the whole point. It's not the amount of crimes. That's why this chart is bad. That's why he referred to this chart. If we're going to be, you know, conspiratorial, he's looking at this chart specifically because it does not actually report on all crimes. It's a survey.
Had it so good, it's not going to wash, is it?
No.
I mean, do you think this is reassuring the 61% of young people who are like, no, it's dangerous out there because there are psychos out on the street and I can see them, I can point to them, I know who they are, and I know they're carrying knives, and if I cross them, they are remorseless. Like, they don't feel bad about the things that they do. And so you've brought in a bunch of psychopaths who are now going to run around with knives and deal drugs and do whatever else they do, and I don't feel safe. And that's, again, assuming you're not a woman. And you're like, yeah, well, you know, there's a much higher chance of me being raped these days, so I don't feel safe either. And there are people like, oh, well, you know, it's young people aren't going out to pubs and clubs anymore. Well, no kidding, no, they're not. The streets aren't safe. Why would they think the streets are safe? The streets are full of knife-wielding urban youths. Like, when I was their age, when I was like in my early 20s, we would just go out on the piss and then just walk home. Right? It'd be like, you know, 2 miles or whatever to walk home.
That is a huge jump. So 2014, it's like it's totally flat, and then 2014, and it's bam, huge explosion. What happened in 2014?
And there were never any issues. I never heard of anyone having an issue. You just walk home because there weren't knife-wielding thugs on the streets.
I mean, there probably were.
Because
but
we hadn't been through the diversification process that Tony Blair inflicted on us. That was really right in its earliest days. Like, it used to be a safe country, and we used to know that it was a safe country, and now it's not a safe country. And Fraser Nelson can't accept that. He's like, well, yeah, but the overall figures. Look, Fraser, the problem, right, is that there is...
Again, those are not the overall figures. It is a survey. He should be banging on about that. He should be absolutely hammering that home, that the stats that he's using are based on a survey of people. Surveys are inaccurate. These are not like numbers that have been reported to the police. These are not even the police's own numbers. This is just a general sort of like, oh, hey, we're looking at a survey of people. And I would imagine it's a yes or no answer. Have you experienced crime or not? So that means that people who are unlikely to answer surveys, who I'm guessing are probably going to be poorer people who are more likely to be in high crime neighborhoods are less likely to answer that survey, and therefore they're going to be less reported. And also, potentially, if it is just a yes or no survey, if you've been victimized by crime multiple times, that's not counted.
The video on this is not playing, but London has launched the Mind the Grab campaign as phones are stolen every 15 minutes. Are they getting reported to the police, are they? Do you think, is that showing up in your crime data?
It's not. I mean,
a theft every 15 minutes in London, is that showing up in your crime data? I don't think it is it? Right? And this is the problem. We have just accepted such a...
Yeah, I can't keep watching this because he's not actually zeroed in on the thing that makes that number bad. I get what he's saying, and what he's saying is correct. That, look, people just intuitively know that stuff's bad. That's a better version of reality. Like that's closer to the truth than looking at a graph. If the graph doesn't line up with reality, maybe it matters if there's some specific thing. But if everybody thinks it's not safe, it's because it's not safe. Maybe there's a specific reason for that. Maybe they're being kind of lied to somehow. But generally speaking, even if people are lied to, if they have some connection with reality and they go, if everybody's telling you the streets are unsafe all the time, but you go out on the streets and you're okay, you kind of think to yourself, oh, okay, maybe it's not as bad as I thought. This happens a lot because people's lived experiences tend to shape their worldview much quicker and easier than statistics and graphs and these types of things, which is sometimes good, but sometimes bad. Yeah, I can't finish it. All right, I did want to see this. Democrats are pretending gerrymandering isn't normal. This is the funniest part. I do want to see Tim Pool does have some boneheaded takes sometimes, but I do see the whole oh man, they miscounted the census here and red states got, screwed up. So now, you know what? Now that we want to redo those figures, it's horrible. And the Republicans are trying to make sure that democracy doesn't work anymore. And it's like, come on, man.
Gerrymandering, cool or not?
It's the
norm
since the fourth.
I hate it. I hate gerrymandering. It's really stupid. It's how politicians stay in power. Is it the norm? Yes, it is the norm. It shouldn't be the norm, but it is.
The president of the United States.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that they should, I think they should have to come back and face it.
Yeah, I mean, they should have to come back and actually do their jobs.
I agree.
The question as to whether or not, gerrymandering is acceptable, this is just the state of affairs today, and it's been that way since James Madison.
Right.
His vice president was Vice President Jerry.
That's true.
And the name gerrymandering comes from that. So whether or not it's okay, I don't know. I think that's kind of...
It doesn't even matter.
No, it does matter, and I'll tell you why. It's because not all of the states are fully gerrymandered, and Democrats have actually put different guardrails in place to not allow them to gerrymander certain states. So Tate, I know you're from New York, but you might not know much about the politics there. But in New York, right, the Democrats did want to gerrymander, but their maps got tossed out by the courts there because they had certain laws that didn't allow them to gerrymander to the nth degree. Eventually, gerrymandering is bad for our country. The way to the big brain solution here is obviously having somebody non-biased and impartial on top, kind of ruling top down, trying to make as many fair districts and rub the least amount of people the wrong way. But I don't know if we just see this both.
Yeah, that's not happening. We're not gonna have somebody like that, because that is basically handing an enormous amount of political power, literal, legitimate, who gets into political power, into the hands of that one person or department or whatever. That is going to be the most grift-happy department that's ever existed, because it's literally deciding, okay, who wins in this district? Is it a Democrat? Is it a Republican? Everybody is going to be just all over that. So it's not going to happen.
sides are just going to try to gerrymander their districts more and more aggressively. Both sides are obviously guilty of this. So I don't know really where that's going to leave us. The Democrats here are just trying their best to prevent it. If this is a band-aid solution for them, these Texas Democrats aren't going to be able to achieve actually preventing the Republicans from gerrymandering Texas. It's only a matter of time. So
well, even with like these commissions like you're talking about, or like in California, they can just special election around it if they really want to. So it's like, okay, it's nice that it's put into place, but if push really came to shove, New York, California, they'll just circumvent it.
And honestly,
special election.
If you were to say, okay, gerrymandering is illegal, what's the solution? How do you break up the districts then?
That's true.
There are different people with different theories on how to do this without having squiggly lines that go in circles. Like, I don't think that's the problem. I think it's the political will to do so, which neither side is going to see. And like, it's escalating, right? One side's doing it, then the other side's going to want to do it more, and then they're going to both point fingers at one another.
Part of the reason that the Democrats are having such a problem with this is because the Democrats have kind of like squeezed all the juice, right? Like, there's not a whole lot more they can do.
There's juice.
There are multiple.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
How many Jews?
A ton.
How many?
Second largest Jews population.
We're not talking about Jews. We're talking about Jews
outside of Israel. Oh.
We're talking about they've gotten all of made all of the gerrymandering they can do. They're not going to get.
I thought they squeezed.
There's a lot of Jews there, though.
Yeah,
there are a lot.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Squeezing more.
Yeah. I love Jews.
So like some state like, Massachusetts,
no,
there's something like 40% of the state is conservative, and there's zero representatives. There's zero representation for the conservatives, and that's a situation in the same situation in Illinois. There's like 40% of the state is Republican, and there's no representation at all.
It's 14-3, and it's a 6-point spread in Illinois.
But if you have each state that's blue or red taking legal action on each one, wouldn't that just affect the other state to want to do it more?
But that might be
escalation. I think that's
what's
problem.
That was that was the point that I was making. The reason that the Democrats have a problem is because there's not much more they can do.
Right.
They don't have the ability to actually gerrymander and get more representation out of most states. There's nothing left they can do. They've really maximized the gerrymandering that's possible. So the reason that they have such a problem with this is because they don't have the ability to just fight back and say, well, gerrymander and et cetera. There's talk of it in New York, there's talk of it in California, but there isn't a lot that's actually possible for them to do. They can do a little bit around the edges, but they're not going to get the same kind of effects that the Republicans could get because the Democrats have been so successful at gerrymandering nationwide. So it's like, sure, there are places where they can get some, but the Republicans actually stand to benefit the most by doing things like redistricting halfway through the time limit they normally.
Okay, I was actually thinking this was more related to the idea of the census numbers and how like Rhode Island retains a seat in the House when they should have lost it because of the census polls, and like Alabama should have gained one. Blah 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 blah. I thought it was more about that. Obviously, gerrymandering has always been an issue. It's also been something that's, again, been around forever. As this guy said, it's been around since James Madison, and people have been doing it forever. And there are certain places that it's so bad and egregious. It's like, this huge, giant, weird snake polygon that, is just like, okay, that's the only way we can win. That is insane. The other side of it is, how else do you break up these districts? I don't know if there's a good answer to that. I guess you could do it based on like, I don't even know if you could do it like that. I'm really trying to think like it's based on area and that kind of stuff. And I was like, I guess you could do it like that. You could maybe even do it based on like, what are your like jobs, like let's make like big, giant, huge, like, okay, like you're involved in agriculture. That's going to be one district because that accounts for, 20%. And then each job sector is going to have a different representative. Maybe, I don't know. It would be, I really don't know. There's not really a great way to do it. He's probably making a good point though, that the reason people are opposing it is because they don't see a way in which they can benefit down the line from it. A lot of politicians will say, oh, no, this is horrible. We hate it. We hate it. but it's because we hate it because it would be bad for us now. Down the line, this could be good for us. You know, we'll try to score some points by saying the president shouldn't have this degree of, executive power, but we think that we're probably going to eventually recapture the White House. And in that case, well, we get that executive power. So, we're not going to fight it that hard. But if it is true that, they've gotten, all the juice from the squeeze, that the, in terms of Democrats and making Democrat gerrymandered districts, if another party, the Republicans, can get more from that, and that obviously would take away from the Democrats' power, that is a good explanation for why they'd be fighting it as hard as they are.
Normally do it because it's normally done after every census, so it's normally done after every 10 years. This is halfway through. There is an argument, we had a guest on last night that was talking about this, there is an argument that it's a good thing to do because of all the demographic changes, because of all of the illegal immigrants that have come in, but also because of all the people that have moved from California to other states, to Texas, to Florida and stuff. So Texas is doing it. A big part of the reason is because of the illegal immigration and because
in Texas?
Yes, it's been known to happen. Really? Shocker, right?
Thanks for checking out this.
All right, yeah. And I mean, I do think, I would also say, like, it's a good thing to do just because you get better representation in that scenario, obviously, yes, okay, the gerrymandering, this kind of stuff, not necessarily great. But the reason it was every, 10 years from a census is because it used to take an enormous amount of time to count everybody on the, country. Like, the country was large geographically. It took a lot of time and effort to get people out there to count, then move that stuff into a place where they could count it and tabulate it and make all that stuff together. Nowadays, it happens very quickly because of computers and planes and trains and blah, 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 blah. It's very easy to do that. So it makes sense to shorten that area of, like, the redistricting time. It does make sense to do that. And I think it does lead to better representation. If we can find a better way to gerrymander, that would be ideal. I don't know if there's good ways to do it. I'm sure there's better ways to do it, or at the very least, good limitations to put on, such that these districts are not insane giant snakes that just so happen to include all of the, Democrat or Republican heavy districts and areas, and therefore a Republican always gets elected to this district or a Democrat always gets elected to this district, no matter who. That's probably a good thing. But I will say, yeah, I think it does make sense that if they are trying to fight this, it's probably because they think they can't benefit from it in the future. That'd be my guess. All right, with that, we're finished with our YouTube videos. That means I want to try to boot up The King is Watching and try this game out. It should be more like what we were trying to do yesterday with, oh my god, I can't even remember the game. I straight up don't even remember the name of the game. Let's see here. All right. He Is Coming. That's what we were playing. I didn't like it. It didn't have roguelike aspects, which was my problem. All right, let's see if we can move this. We'll find a spot for me We'll find a spot for my face later. All right, Savage TV says good point. Thank you, Savage TV. I appreciate it. Okay, we've got Okay, who do we like? I like the old guy, right? Oh, never mind, we're doing this to everybody. We're just making everybody explode in flowers. Okie dokie. Alright, welcome to your kingdom, your majesty. The kingdom stands ready, though much remains to be built. Let us proceed to your tower. There are matters most urgent to attend to. Okie dokie. Alright, should this be your first time, I highly recommend starting the tutorial. It will provide all the guidance you need to rule wisely. Should we do the tutorial? Yes. Universal agreement. Excellent. And I think it's the only thing we can do. Okay, new building available. Greetings, King. I am Gustav, your loyal advisor. I am here to remind you how to manage your kingdom. Thank you, I did forget how to do that. Strong economies build strong empires. To start off, build a couple of wells. They produce water, which is essential for basic production. Okay. Do I do this somewhere? Okay, I have to drag it. Gotcha. All right. Your kingdom depends on your supervision. Only buildings within the area your gaze covers will work. That's kind of what I thought. That's good. You can move and rotate it using both mouse buttons. Oh, that's cool. And then I can move it. Oh, I can move it. Okay, cool. I got it. Should I make more water? I guess I should, right? Let's do it. This is a fun looking dude. King Baldwin. Increase damage dealt by all units by 1%. All right, now that your wells have brought you enough water, it is time to place a wheat field. I will do that. And I can put it here. Can I move this? Ah, okay, so it doesn't do anything. I gotcha. I was wondering about that. That's kind of cool, though. All right, you are doing great, my king. Ruling the kingdom is not only about the growth of the economy, but also defending against enemies. We know that the goblins have planned raids on your castle, and you can view them on the timeline. Uh-huh. Recruiting peasants. You cannot recruit any skilled troops yet, so arm your presence for now. Construct a peasant hut and recruit a couple of them. Note that the recruitment cost is listed in the building tooltip. This guy. Okie dokie, I can put you here, and then I can rotate you like this. That way we get everything. I like it. That works. 2. Let's see, are we getting it? Okay, 1 of 2. What are we recruiting here? Alright, we've got water. Sire, the hut has reached its recruitment limit. If you want to recruit more peasants, you need to build a new hut. Now, what the hell is this? Ah, okay. So, should we build a new one? I guess yes. And we will drop you down to here. How about that? That sounds pretty cool. I like it. Let's do it. Might not be ideal. Okay, so like the terms, like the placement and stuff is actually going to be super important. Okay, they're attacking us. We're pretty good with that. Okay, we got it. Claim them. Okay, new building available. Yes. Gold doesn't grow on trees unless you tax them. You can get gold by selling resources at the market. Your next priority should be gathering enough materials to build it. Okay, can I pause? I can pause. Let's see what this is. So we want wheat and wood. Which means that I think I want to go into here. Wheat field is this. Water is this. This is a tree. Interesting. Let's go ahead. I wonder if I can recruit from other things. I feel like I can. I feel like I can recruit while just attacking one of these guys. Cool, okay, I can. Troop limit. Looks like you have reached the troop limit. Having a large army is very important, so I recommend you purchase this upgrade as soon as possible. See if you can start producing the resources needed for the upgrade. Yes, I can. And I want... How do we want this? Here is good, but I don't want the debuff. I don't want the debuff. Let's see if we can do... I mean, I might just take the debuff. Yeah. I probably just take it. Oh, that's what we can do. We can do it like that. That works. This gives me wheat. We've got decent amounts of water, so I think we're okay here. And then this runs out, it looks like. So we shouldn't have done this. This should have been... I wonder if we can replace it. All right, you have everything required for the market. You should build it now. Let me see if I can replace this guy. Yeah. Can I replace it? I can't. That sucks. Okay. If that's the case, then let's try to build this. Where should we build this? Here. And we'll build it like you. That works. The market is complete. Good job. To start selling, you need to choose the type of resource you're going to sell. Right now, you only have wheat to sell. Open the management menu and select the wheat icon. Guess that's you. Wheat. That works. Okay, now what does this guy do? I don't know what this guy does. Damage per second. I guess maybe we're getting other stuff here. Huh. I'm not sure. We're selling. We are getting wood. That's good. We can boost our limit. No artifacts. Ruh-roh. We got some big boys here. We might be getting slammed in. Yeah, I don't think we're making it. I think we're dead. Okay, so this is health. I gotcha now. Let's pop you up. And can we make more things? I can't make more things. Okay. Your castle walls have received damage. Keep them intact if you don't want goblins to get inside. I don't want goblins to get inside, but I don't think there's anything I can do here. Morale's not terrible. Okay, well, we won. So they were kind of weak. Archery, iron mine. Okie dokie. You've received an archery. Some proper troops will be useful right now as raids are getting tougher. Let the archers shower the enemy with arrows while the peasants do the up-close negotiations. Okay. We do need iron. So I actually want this to go. Where do we want this to go? I think we're gonna want this to go like you. That works. That works. Then we can throw this guy down. And we'll throw you here. We need, what is this other thing? We need wood. And is that gold? I guess it is gold, okay. Alright, the building has almost run out of resources. When the limit is reached, the building will be destroyed, so be prepared to replace with another wheat tree ore. Field, excellent, I will do that. I wasn't sure about that, but that does make sense. Cool, 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 that makes sense. I like that. Close to getting these guys. You good. Alright. So this is more fun. This is a more fun management style game. I like this better. I could see how we would get, you know, some degree of, what are we calling this? What are we calling this? Ooh. And we're toast. How are they recruiting these guys? We need to recruit some more. We're gonna get destroyed here. How quickly are these people not being recruited? What is going on with this? Am I not? What am I missing out on here? Shouldn't these people be being recruited? Maybe I need to go like this? Maybe I do need to go like that. Maybe? Okay, no, I still got one. Just took forever. What is it? Okay, there it goes. Now we're recruiting. Why did it take so long? It wasn't working. I don't understand. Not getting it. Okay. There we go. Okay. It's just, I still don't understand why it wasn't working. What the hell? Okay. Create a fissure that damages enemies, poisonous roots that damage and push enemies away. I like that way more. Crystal Mine and Magic School. Looks like you've received a spell. Some of them can drastically change the tide of battle or give you bonuses. Drag and drop them into the battlefield when the opportunity arises. Yup. Boink, boink, boink. Building. Alright, prophecy. You have been given a prophecy. Here you can determine the next 3 waves of enemies that will attack you. With stronger foes come better rewards, but beware. But be wise, not all treasure is meant to be won. An enemy wave that's too strong could wipe your castle away. Now, make your decision so we can continue. I want the most easy crap on the planet. 50 HP 100. I want this guy then. Doink. Crossbow. These are both the same. 4, 7. Feel like this guy and then this guy, right? That's probably true. Ooh, these are the optional stuff. I gotcha. It never. Ooh, okay. Cool. No, we just want to go easy. Can I go with this? Continue? You can produce your own spells with the buildings you receive. That's good. Let's go for you. I want to get that archery. Okay, that's you. Let's recruit you. How long does it take to recruit this crap? Come on, man. Why is this not recruiting? Really trying to get you recruited. Okay, sorry, most of the troops you can recruit have their own unique traits which affects the battlefield or production in some way. Some troops work exceptionally well with others. You can view the traits of the soldiers you have by hovering over a building or a unit icon of theirs. That's great. I would love if... Okay, why is this not? What is up with this? Okay, there we go. So then it starts. Okay. Moving buildings. So planning the layout of your whole castle is a formidable task. So if you ever need to move a building somewhere else, you can do so by holding shift and dragging it. I was wondering about that. Dragging it to a new tile. Moved buildings suffer a production penalty for some time, except wells. So resort to this only when you must. Now try moving a building somewhere else. Where do we want to move? Okay. What is up with this? Resources, we'll go for wheat, and trader, I'll take it. Alright, looks like the trader has arrived. He sells a variety of items. Buildings, spells, resources, and more. I would recommend buying one of these artifacts, but the choice is yours. I wonder if I can buy all of these. I want to see. This is where we open up old cheat engine. I'm gonna assume they are 4-byte values. It looks like they... Nope. Messed up. Go for all 75. Let's check it out, buddy. Let's get it. We can do it. I have a feeling we can do it. All right, what's the cheapest thing in here? 20? And I can use that wheat, so I'll happily take it. They're double values. Okay. I'm gonna just buy everything. I just want to see if I could. I can. That looks pretty good. Noble's Palace. Alright. Why is this taking forever to freaking happen? Alright, game speed. Do you need some time to think? Press the pause game, space. Yeah. Got that stuff. The question here is... Okay. Noble's Palace. Okay, small skeletons. Let's put you here. Move you to here. Let's do that. I just want to see if this works. Why are the archers not happening? Is it because we don't have enough wooden stuff? I guess. It's gotta be, right? No, because we don't have enough... What do you call it? Alright. The morale. Sorry, you have a look at the people's morale. Different kings have different morale effects, and for you, the damage dealt by all of your troops is boosted. There are different ways to increase it, such as producing wine. Okie dokie. Again, how am I making this stuff? See, they're just happening. What is up with this? I guess I don't have enough of that. Okay. Gold mine. Yes. Doink. Alright. So this has got to be what it is. It's that you need a certain amount of gold to make all the stuff? Alright. Let's do you. Are you going to start producing? Doesn't look like it. It is moving. Alright. How do I get this to produce? Like, it's not even starting. I don't understand. Okay. I literally need to actually figure that out. Okay. How do we attack you? How are you working? This thing works, this thing works. I want to get this thing to work. Is this going to start producing for me at all? What am I missing? I've got to be missing something, right? Do I have... Oh, maybe I don't have any wheat. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, I didn't have any wheat. Okay. Looks like that was the last of them. Great job. Didn't tell me that, so I'm annoyed. The scouts are reporting that many more are coming. The true test of your kingdom lies ahead, but for now, take this. You've earned it. See if you can purchase or upgrade something in your kingdom. I bet I can. Maybe I can't. I can't. I need more. That's okay, though. No big deal. Alright. So you know what we can do? I can move this. There are double values. We'll search for 5. No big deal. Alright. We'll go for preparation. Village. Can we do anything else here? No. We're just toasting on what we got, which is fine. I don't mind this at all. That's fine. No big deal. Threat level. Easy mode. I'm cool with it. Let's do it. Alright. New building available. Touch the ball to reveal your fate. Alright. Goblin Warlord Gorzog. Warlord of the Horde. Goblins are perpetual opportunists. They engage in looting, plundering, and ruining people's day. even during an apocalypse. And then there's Gorzog. Towering grotesquely above his kin, he's roughly siege tower sized and equally subtle. No one's sure what or whom he's been eating, but it's clearly not involved a balanced diet. Gorzog leads through brute force, casual cruelty, and a strict biggest club wins philosophy. His warfare strategy is to swing first, ask questions never, and leave complex planning to smaller minds, which admittedly includes nearly everyone. What? Alrighty. Shall we continue? Ah, okay. Okay, let's pause. I want a well. After a well, we will make a tree and a wheat field. I like that, actually, yeah. Probably wheat field first. Probably wheat field first. Yeah, wheat field first. And we will not double up. There's no point. No point in doubling up. I actually thought this would take some time to make stuff, but it doesn't, which is good. Then we'll go for the tree, so this will be our little, like, production corner. That's good. That's what we want. Boink. Perfect. Okay. So now that I'm actually figuring stuff out, we're okay here. Now, what is this? Goblin Bandit. So we definitely want to get a peasant hut built up relatively quickly. We're going to put it right there. That way we won't need the water. We'll be okay. And we can still mine this stuff. There we go. Perfect. That gives us what we need. The next peasant thing should go here. If we can get it. We do need to build water for it, but I'm going to wait until this gives us 2. We'll get you. Our peasant house will go right here. We can still mine wheat. That should give us the food that we need. That'll be good. All right. Yeah. That works. All right. Research table. Tree. We don't need more tree. I don't think we need any more things. Other stuff. Put you here. And we'll put you here. Actually, I guess we don't need... Well, no. So if we want to replace them quickly, we have both of them under our gaze. That's pretty good. Levy barracks. I want archery. I do want archery. Yeah. Basic production. I'm pretty happy with that. Tree. I don't think we need a more bigger tree. Big well is probably good. Yeah, big well. Prophecy, though. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Goblin Bandit. Want the spell. Levy barracks. Levy barracks. Do we want more barracks? I don't want barracks. I think we're going to go for you. We should probably go for you first. Then you second. And then you third. Even though... actually... No, this is a little bit easier. Do we want to go for any of this crazy stuff? I don't think so. Not yet. We want to wait until we get big bonuses. All right. A group of court mage assistants went missing in the woods. The search party found only bloodstains, tattered robes, and a sinister book titled 100 Otherworldly Wisdoms from Friendly Eldritch Spirits. It's nothing crazy. Your royal mage, thrilled, calls it a boon. This tome shaped empires. You must read it, your majesty. But a nervous counselor warns the last ruler to read it came to believe his own throne was plotting against him. Defile the tome? We don't have what we need. What a shame. Alright, so we could sell it, or we could receive permanent morale 7. Do I need the gold? I don't need it, but it would be good. I'm going to sell it. You swiftly identify an eccentric collector eager for such sinister literature. The transaction fills your coffers handsomely, although you wonder briefly about the buyer's motives when he departs with a loud cackle. Still, gold is gold, and now the tome's bizarre whispers are someone else's problems. Pretty cool. All right. Can we replace stuff? I think we said we couldn't. I think we said we couldn't. So that's good. So we can do you. And actually it makes sense to just go like this. Okay. In that case, we want to do you. We're going to farm this stuff, and we're going to be going for the archer. We need the market for that, though. Where's a good spot for that? I think we can put you here. Maybe here. Because we want to be making... Yeah, we want to be making this stuff. And we sell you. We've actually got tons of gold, so we're okay. Actually, I should have just gone for this guy right away, shouldn't I have? Oh, I need iron. I totally forgot I needed iron. Oops. That's a screw up. All right, in that case, we want to just be doing this. We want to just be farming this stuff. Maybe blueprint table will give me blueprints, I hope. Water gaze. You know what? That's actually huge. Yeah, that gives me some good stuff. I'm happy with that. Yeah, that's good, that's good, that's good. Maximum limit. I do want to bump that up. And you know what? That pretty much gives us everything, doesn't it? 10 denarii. And a spell. Summons a scarecrow. Friendly units in an area, 35% of evading enemy. I think this is probably better. Yeah, that'd be my guess. Produces 2 water. That's pretty good. I do need to make another wheat field. And then I'll probably need to make another this thing. I wonder if I can make... I'm gonna move you and make a big well. That should be pretty good. I didn't think that would be limited resource. It's unfortunate, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. All right, then we're gonna pop you down here and basic production. Make you here. I would really like to be able to have this guy, but I can't. Which means I can move you here. Actually, that's pretty good. Yeah, that works. Now we're doing everything. Got a decent bit of stuff. I've got this guy here. If anybody dies, I can relatively quickly pop them back. In fact, we're even going to go for doubles. That's pretty good. We should be able to get 2 peasants out pretty quickly. Bing, bang, boom. There we go. Basic production. And we need the iron. If we need the iron, then I'm going to put you here. Put you here. And I think we would put you here. I think that makes the most sense. How much? We've got a good amount of wheat. We've got a good amount of food, so we actually will be able to produce these freaking archers. Good. And there we go. Now we can refill everybody. And we can get our archers. So we can actually do some good stuff. We can actually be relatively strong here. Thank God. Interesting. So these things run out. I kind of didn't think they would run out. Levy barracks. All right. What do we need here? In that case, I think swordsman barracks, right? Yeah, I think swordsman barracks. That's probably our best bet. And can we sell these? Demolish buildings. Yes, we can. Okay. So we can do that. So we'll probably blow up one of these and replace it with the swordsman. Once we get it. Okay, let's get our production stuff going. Yeah, that's good. So once we get our wood, we can move this down to here. Alrighty, we're doing pretty good here. And here comes an upcoming person. Or is this? Oh, this is a trader. That's pretty good. Cool. All right, and this should be a pretty, yeah, this should be a pretty much just a blowout. And then trader, 50. We can kind of go pretty good here. And I'm going to just go absolutely silly billies. Uh-huh. That's pretty good. Okay, I think we're gonna demolish. We don't want to demolish it yet. Goldsmith's farm. We don't need to do that for you yet. Let's see, crystal mine, it's okay. Swordsman's barracks, I do want to do swordsman's barracks. Don't need to do it yet. Militia, let's see, 7, 150. These are way higher damage. These cost a lot of gold. We don't have a huge gold farm. I like the skeletons. The skeletons are actually kind of cool. For right now, we just need to keep where we're at. And I just need to start asking questions. Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's Sunday, right? Yeah. Enjoying your weekend? Been okay? Up to anything fun? What the hell does this button do? Oh, pending rewards. An upgrade for your troop. Huh. Brigade. I guess we'll do that then. Okay. How much water do we have? We have a ton of water. We don't have as much wood. Swordsman barracks. Alright. I want to demolish you. I want to make the swordsman's barracks. I want to pop you into here. I wonder if I could do that. Okay, so I can build at least one swordsman. And then once this guy dies, there won't be any more of them. Okay, that's cool. That works. We need to build these guys. We need steel, which we're kind of okay with. We're kind of okay with steel. So yeah, is anybody dealing with anything this weekend? What are we thinking? Are we like doing any, I know somebody had asked earlier, Trent, if I watched the football. I don't. I guess it's starting to be football season almost. Doesn't feel like it. Which is kind of crazy. Barracks, let's see what we're thinking here. Do we need more of this stuff? I think we go for militia, swordsman's barracks. Militia's probably better. 2 basic productions, that's crazy. Gold mine, tree. We'll go for another iron mine. We'll go for another one of you. Ooh, great bushes, yeah, definitely. And artifacts. 90 resources of your choice 3 times. That's pretty good, but you know what? I like this. Porcelain chip. Basic construction. And then this guy. Alrighty, let's check. Inevitable. Does this mean these guys come for sure? I don't need the Denari. Spells are nice. Levy barracks. You. Should I try to, like, blow this out a little bit? At least one of them, right? I think at least one of them. Spell, artifact. Let's go ahead. Let's try that. Alright. Your kingdom's lumberjacks, famed for their resilience, have braved every winter. Until now. That's a fun little picture. I like it. This winter's unprecedented cold has claimed many. Later found as lumberjack-flavored popsicles. The survivors now demand health insurance, reasonable hours, and even something other than grog to fight the cold. How will your grace handle their audacity? Allow more rest time by introducing shifts. Dispatch soldiers to motivate them. I'm kind of leaning towards sawmill. Yeah. You establish shifts, giving the lumberjacks some much-needed rest. Morale improves noticeably, but your advisors are baffled by a sudden increase in lumberjack-themed poetry readings and knitting clubs during downtime. They even come up with an idea of how to expand your kingdom's lumber projection and propose a new felling zone. I'll learn to talk eventually. Really? I mean, one would hope, right? Okie dokie. Once this guy goes down, sawmill. What's this? Yield is limited? Oh, this is unlimited yield. Okay. It's pretty good. And then that guy's new, so we can actually get a new swordsman out of that, so I will stick where I'm at. Cool, okay. From here, I'll be honest, I want to go into here. And maybe I pop this sawmill out. Vineyard? I think maybe I do this. Nah, I do this. Yeah. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That works. Now, what the hell does these things do? Purchasing the upgrades in the upgrade tree. These are just not doing anything. Okay. I mean, I don't have a problem with that right now. Small peasant's hut, don't care. Resource pack. Nah, we don't need it. Provide morale. How is our morale? 1%. So not bad, actually. Pretty good. Can I bump this up? I can't yet. I'm trying to get that porcelain crap. Which I'm cool with. That's pretty good. Nope, that's what we want. We're good with it. And then we can bop this guy up. Clay mine. Yes. I do want a clay mine. We're gonna pop that sucker right here, I guess. Yeah, let's do it. Because clay, I can upgrade this. We don't actually need it anymore, so we can go to here. I can make some gold, and I can make my stuff bigger. Alright, levy barracks. Bone pit, archery. What do we think? Bones. Bones are good. I can get these crystals. I can get these things up, but they're only good for morale, so we don't really care about that. I think we go bone pit. I think we go bone pit. Yeah. I think so. I think that's how we do it. And once we get... What other stuff can I trade yet? 1-to-1. Okay, that's pretty good. So now we're gonna go for that. Alright, so we're doing pretty decent work on the mining stuff. I will say it does seem like stuff kind of stalls, which I don't like. I could blow up this building and replace it with something else. just not doing anything now. Sawmill, militia camp. I can't do militia camp quite yet. This should be okay. This should be decent. We want to go to here. Make sure that we can get our full recharge. Spells. Alright. Chop chosen trees to get 40. Wood per tree. 15 blades to fall in a horizontal line. Let's go for the damage. Huh. I'm gonna go for the mage's stuff. Probably actually not useful for us. I am gonna blow this thing up. It's not helpful for us. Let's see what else. Magic school. We're not looking for that. Basic spells. Legendary spells. I wonder if I should do these guys. I'll just do these guys. The bones. Spell boys. Alrighty. And then with that, I think we can go over to here. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That'll work. This game's actually pretty fun. I can see how this game would be interesting. I am gonna almost certainly be cheating. And we're not really seeing a huge bunch of, like, bonuses and stuff. But as of right now, I'm okay with it. Alright, small resource pack. I don't want that yet. Black sheep barn. Don't really care. The spells thing is interesting. And let's get you up to here. Where's the other stuff we're looking for? That's okay. Sawmill. Spell. Summon Infernals. Yup. Building upgrade. Let's see. Vineyard production. It's all just going to be vineyards. Okay. Each active vineyard provides 5 morale, boost production. I like 5 morale right away. Yeah, that gives me a huge boost right away. That's pretty sick. What else? Ooh, I think I can upgrade this. Not quite yet, but very close. So that will be our next goal. We can upgrade this. That's the way to go. That's the way to go, for sure. I like this. This game is way more fun than the last thing. The He Is Coming thing, that was just like... I think the old school aesthetic has people blinded. They just don't understand that, you know, things were old school. They were good because they had heart and soul and an enormous amount of effort and time and love poured into them. The graphics were holding them back, you know? The graphics were not what elevated the game to goodness, you know? Old school adventure was good because lunatics who saw Dungeons and Dragons and computers as the coolest things on the planet wanted to put them together, and they did their level best to try to make that happen. The fact that they were limited by the technology of their era meant that they, you know, had to be creative. They figured out how to get around it, but the graphics being all clunky and line, you know, retro style did not make them better. It was the thing that they had to overcome. So this is not super retro style. It's a little, you know, it's simplified and all that kind of stuff, but it's not that. The He Is Coming that we played yesterday, that's what it was. It was just, I don't think it had enough game to it, especially when people were describing it as a roguelike. I didn't find anything roguelike about it. Maybe that's just me, though. I don't know. Maybe I didn't see it. And hey, we've got a whole bunch of money. How did that happen? I don't know, but I'm just gonna buy stuff, right? All right, place seals on 2 tiles. What are these? Royal Crown. Yeah, we're gonna get some of these spells, and we're gonna get some of that. Yeah. Vineyard, sawmill. I mean, you know, it's cool. It's no big deal. No units, no units. No units will be affected at this moment. Okay, so champion rider. Okay. So it's only those people. That's interesting. Okay, and are we paused? What's going on? Oh, we have to choose. Okay, in that case, I guess we'll go with... yeah, whatever. We'll just go with that. It doesn't matter. We don't have champions yet. It is what it is. Ooh, okay. Let's make... small wheat field. Yes. And we actually do not want to be selling that stuff. This would have been better if we could have done that, but we can't. Because that would have given us gold and that at the same time. That's okay, though. That's okay. No big deal. Now, what does this give me? The bonus here. Do I see what the bonus is? I guess it just gives me a production bonus. That'd be my guess. Should be. This should take us out, right? Oh, man. Barracks, madhouse. Let's go for hunters. Production, small wheat field. We don't really need the wheat field. I will take it. Wheat field. Here we go. Better version. That's what I want. Chain lightning. Again, I'm just going all damage. When we finally get to the boss, we can take him out. Choose an artifact. Troops are produced 20% faster. That's pretty good. First reroll is free. I don't care about that. Alrighty. Let's see. Sun-faced. Goblin, pig, basic production. Resource. Alright, so I want you. I want you. I can't do that. Okay, so I do need to pick one of these. If that's the case, then we definitely go for you. Now, are there any good upgrades here? Production. Kingdom infrastructure. You know what? I will actually throw these guys in. I don't know what it does, so I want to know what it does. Let's see it, baby. From your balcony, you watch smoke rise from the forest. No bread means no royal toast. Tragic, you muse. Sampling a grape, a soot-covered scout bursts in. A wildfire is spreading, threatening our fields and farms. The council debates, protect your existing resources, or let the fire create fertile new fields. Control the spread, but no drastic measures. That gives me some wood. Save the villagers at all costs. I get some troops, but I don't really care. What a beautiful sight, let it all burn. I mean, no, we're doing that, obviously. You order your people to carefully contain the wildfire, avoiding unnecessary heroics, but protecting key resources. While some areas inevitably burn, the flames conveniently clear space for promising new farmland. Your advisors quietly praise your practicality, though a few peasants grumble about needing to rebuild fences again. Ooh. That's fine, we're good with it. Okay. Where else are we going here? So, I think we want to do this so we can upgrade. No, I am going to go for you. Because you know what? These guys are pretty good. These guys are pretty solid. Yeah. They only take water. They're really solid. That's good. It's a good mix. And then once we get this, oh, there it is. Beautiful. Okay, so now that we've got you, I just want to see how this flips around. That's kind of cool. That's better. Okay, let's try to find some good stuff to be doing. What do we want to upgrade? Are we looking for... This actually might be our best option right now. Because we've got a decent amount of other resources. The only thing we could use more of is wheat, specifically. I might move this well, because we've got a ton of water. And then... Yes, that's what we're going to do. We're going to move you to here. And once we get this, we'll pop you here. Move you here. And for some reason this won't do anything. No, that's what we want. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. Summon Infernals. Oh, we should just use these. Do I have that deforestation thing? Oink. Oh. Doink. Let's get them. Stun enemies. Okay, cool. Scarecrow. Damages enemies. Yeah, that's it. That's what we want. And we're actually getting a little bit toasted on that. Got a little bit annihilated there. Let's see what other stuff we've got. Madhouse. Hit and run tactics. Explosive cart factory, which doesn't seem too bad. Wheat field is nice. Did we get our stuff? We did. We want to actually improve our limits here. I don't think that gets us to full saturation, but 10 is pretty good. 10 is pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that. We could go one more with like one of these guys. It's not a terrible idea. But I don't think we need it right now. We're pretty good. I think right now we just want to kind of sit back and chill. Okay, when do we get this guy? When is he coming up? That's the boss. Okay. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. We got it. We got there. And we want one of these guys. Big well, crystal mine. Grape. Yield is limited. I think we probably go with big well. Because that, I mean, the amount of resources we're getting from these has yet to be, like, knocked out, so I think we're okay, but, you know. I'll pop this again in there. Okie dokie. Tree, clay mine. I guess clay mine. Kingdom infrastructure. Ooh. Adjacent improvements start working without needing to watch them. That's nice. That's super good. Do we have any ability to actually create that? We could. Brick factory. I think we're gonna go for this just because it's so good. Yeah, that's so solid. So we actually, at that point, we want to be doing you. It's so good. It's a little late. It's too late, but it's super good. Yeah, that's insanely good. So that means we need to build a crystal mine. Yeah, we need to build a crystal mine. Where should we build a crystal mine? We could probably put it right here, right? Yeah. Let's put it right there. And then... Okay, how is this made? Advanced production. Okay, so we actually are screwed. We actually can't make it. I don't think we have the ability to. No, I don't think we have the ability to make it. That's unfortunate. I'll make you. Why not? And then, where else? Black sheep barn. Screw it. Why not? Ooh. So if you fill up the whole thing, you get a bonus. That's cool. Good to know. Or wine. I guess or. Let's see what else we got here. Sacrifices black sheep. No. Any resource at random. That's really good. That's really super solid. If that's the case, then I kind of want to be doing this guy. And we'll blow up. I think we'll kill this well. Yeah, we'll kill this well. Huh? Yeah, there we go. And it does not need to be washed, so we can just let this sit. That's good. And we're selling. You know what? This is actually pretty good. Crystal mine, big well. Let's go big well in case we ever do need water. I think we're solid though. I think we're pretty much good to go with most of this stuff. I don't know if we'll die on the boss. I'm gonna try to use up all my spells. This is pretty good though. I like this game. This game's fun. It's finished, which is part of, I think, why it's actually holding my attention. It's not a unfinished early access game that has some degree of polish on it. It's it's a proof of concept without any of the depth. Yeah. That was what we were playing yesterday. His Coming had that. It was like a proof of concept, which was fine, but it is just like not worth playing. It's not worth my time. You know? It's silly to say, but it's totally accurate. And let's see. You get affected by something, so let's take it. I'll take him, buddy. Can we increase this yet? We could, but again, I mean, we don't need to because we actually don't have enough. Yeah, we don't have the items. Items? Is items the word that I wanted? No, we can't kill these guys. I was wondering if we could take them out, but we can't. That's fine. So I think we're actually pretty good here. Yeah, we're pretty solid. We can maybe be doing this instead. That might be a little bit more. Actually, yes, that's what we want to do. There we go. Now we're maximizing our gold. There we go. Because this is the thing that we actually want to upgrade. And this is good for future turns. You can like figure out what stuff's where. Gorzog. Ooh. Skoink. Skoink. Think. Moonshine. Slow Zone. Scarecrow. Alright, are we are actually doing pretty good here. We've got all of our stuff updated. Do we have? We do have. Pretty good on that then. I'm good. Oh, okay. I want to do you then. I want to be upgrading. I want to be putting out as many troops as I can. We killed him. We got him. I'll take it. I'll take it. That was the boss. Pretty good. Legendary artifact. Unit limit by 6. Max unit HP by 75. Yes. Alright. Permanently increase friendly units' HP in an area by 40. Create an area that heals friendly units, makes them invincible to damage. I think permanently increase. That's probably not great because we have like crappy. Yeah, we've got like really not great people, but it's okay. All right, who do we want here? Firing range, musketeers, I feel like yes, musketeers, and we will just get rid of the archers. Yeah, that's good. All right, wheat field, iron mine, gold mine. Let's go iron mine. Troop training. Anybody affected? Grunt. Black sheep, peasant, small bones. No. We want hunter and swordsman. Yeah, because we're keeping swordsman. We definitely want you. Definitely want you. And you. Let's see, should we go further out here? I'm gonna go for like the big stuff. If anything, you know what? I'm gonna actually even just completely go stupid mode. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Because we are blown out in terms of like all of our extra stuff that we have because I'm cheating Denari money. So we should be able to take that out, especially if we actually optimize our units and stuff. As the years passed, your royal robes grew tighter. Buttons shot off like cannonballs. You know, some people hold their weight and they look okay. This guy, come on. Occasionally knocking out unlucky servants, one day as you gazed into your gilded mirror, the truth stared back at you. You had become glorious. Just call it a new friend. Get yourself in shape. Receive building arena. Destroy all the mirrors in the kingdom. You know what? Let's get ourselves in shape, right? Embracing the motto, no pain, no gain, you embark on an intense fitness regime. After vigorous royal exercise sessions, accompanied by a slightly terrified trainers, you reclaim your former physique and inspire a kingdom-wide fitness craze. Deciding to share your newfound passion, you commission the construction of an arena dedicated to sports, competitions, and entertainingly sweaty contests of royal athleticism. Okie dokie. Boss defeated, all production increased by 15%. Your enemies are gathering stronger forces. Consider upgrading your army. Considered and agreed to. The Hungering Maw. Precisely how this monstrosity came to exist is fiercely debated by terrified scholars and tavern drunkards alike. Some say it's a goblin warlord who made a reckless pact with eldritch powers. Others insist it's a demon that was imprisoned by ancient dragons and force-fed goblins, admittedly something dragons might enjoy. Whatever its origin, its hunger is legendary and alarmingly literal. From the abyssal void within its grotesque maw, fresh goblins spew forth fully formed, eager to rampage and ruin. It's unclear if this is an intentional strategy or simply indigestion, but either way, it's extremely inconvenient for everyone involved. Approach them all with caution, and preferably with someone slower than you close behind. Okie dokie, I said we want to blow up. Which one are we killing? Yeah, we want to get rid of you. I want to get worshippers. No, I want firing range. Yup, that's what I want. Interesting. And we're doing... Whoa! That is a ton. Absolute enormous amount of freaking... Man, that's a crazy amount. Yeah, that's a bananas amount. And to be honest, what I should do here is I should actually get rid of this small wheat field and get a big wheat field. Oh, I kind of actually thought I would get more out of it. I didn't. So it's actually just a bigger resource base as opposed to making the ticks faster. That's less good. That is not as good. Okay. Let's get you up. And that should be pretty good for us. Okay. Current spell damage modifier, 105%. That's not too bad. Alright. We are looking to get this broader gaze up. That'll allow us. No, I mean that's just better. It's just good to do. Iron Mine. I was really hoping for something. I don't know. Better, right? We can kind of ditch this. I don't have anything that actually needs crystals. This is good, but we're kind of already done. You know, at this point, we're just hoping we get better tier units, and then we're going to be making those better tier people. Like, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much how we're doing it. That's it. We're not going to do this yet. We're going to kind of save this spell probably more or less until the end. Okay, I was gonna say we're doing really well here. We're doing way better than I thought. Yeah, that's really good. All right, gold mine, small wave. It doesn't matter. We'll do gold yield. Reduction again. Grape. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Each spell you cast, it's a 30% chance of being cast twice. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Especially with a limiting factor for us. Yeah. And then 90 resources. Gold, metal. I think we go for metal. Yeah, we go for metal. We could go for gold and get closer to the broader gaze thing, which is definitely a good move. But I think we're okay. All right, wheat field. Pop you there. Good. What did this cost again? 72. Okay. Just water. We've got a decent amount of water, so we're okay. And what do we need to bump this up? We do need to bump the. I mean, how much do we need to bump that? Really? I'm not looking to survive this whole thing. Like, to be honest, me getting through this is my first run. I should not be surviving this far. I should not win on this go-round. I should actually lose. And actually, you know what? We need to ditch this guy. Yeah, this black sheep barn. That's useless. We need to get rid of that. Peasants. I don't want peasants. I actually want... Bone pit? No. We had a crazy one. Militia camp? I think that's what we want. Yeah. Wheat field? Yeah, I think we want wheat field. Building upgrade. Sawmill. Wheat field. Sure, let's do that. All right. So let's move you over here. We can actually delete this too. Let me get rid of you. Iron mine, winery, bone pit, big well. Where are these units? Sawmill, clay mine, iron mine, crystal mine, mine. Explosive cart, bone pit, militia camp. That's what we're looking for. You. Okay. Ruh-roh. And then what does this cost? Ooh, not great. Not ideal. We're getting chewed up a little bit. We're getting chewed up a little bit. We're getting chewed up. We've got pretty good ranged guys, so I'm okay with that. But you know what? Yeah, this is my fault. I did this on purpose. I made us insanely super stupid. That's true. I did this on purpose. Veteran. Healer, mages. That's probably not a bad move. You know what? We've got a ton of these. Yeah, we've got a ton of these things, so we should go for that. Academy of Lightning. I mean, that's really super cool. We'll go for you. One of your troops died. An explosive square will be. No, that's what we want. Yeah. Okay. I think we can upgrade this guy, and yeah, that's the stuff we're looking for here. Doink. Okay, cool. For you, is there anything better? I guess it's this sawmill. Maybe it's faster? I mean, it should be. I guess the sawmill's faster. Okay. Cool. Good. That's what we're looking for. You know? Let's go for you. We've got a pretty good amount of ore. We don't need to be doing that anytime soon. Really? Another wave already? Okay. That's good. That works. That's our best configuration. Because you want to be trying to bump this up. Even if you can't really do anything with it. Uh-huh. Yeah, we're pretty good with that. Yeah, no big deal. Definitely ranged. Hell yeah. How are we? We're very close to this. Very close. And +3, so that actually means that we don't need to build really very many any other buildings. Which is good. Militia camp. How are these militia guys? They're okay. Madhouse. Grunt Arcane. Do I have any, like, cool magic buildings? I'm gonna pop that down. It's just super good. Yeah. Shouldn't that mean these are working? Or does it mean, like, I need to do, like, this? Oh, it means I have to do that. I screwed up. That was expensive, too. Damn. That was expensive. That sucks. That sucks. Damn. That sucks. Yeah, sure, we'll go for you. And let's see, spell. Hell yeah. Veteran barracks. Yup. Artifact. Oh yeah. Boink. 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 Boink and doink. There we go. My lord, the merchants from the west have returned to our kingdom. Their wagons bringing with rare and precious goods, but an eager soldier sneezed on their spices and the chief merchant. The poor man is outraged and smells of cinnamon. He demands swift justice, specifically the head of the offending soldier, or at least his nose. If we refuse, they've threatened to leave, and we will lose access to their artifacts and rare materials. Give them what they want. What is this? Offer them favorable trade. I think that's probably best. We get an artifact out of it. That's pretty good. In the knowledge that merchants love a profitable bargain above all, you cleverly soothe their anger with an exceptionally favorable trade deal. Delighted by your diplomatic talent, and even more delighted by their new profit margin, they give you a rare artifact as a token of gratitude. Relations are restored, your treasury benefits, and your guards keep all their noses. Everyone wins. Pretty cool, bro. Alright. Every 1 second, a random enemy is dealt 12 damage. That's pretty good. When your castle reaches 0 HP, no. Nah. Nope. This sucks. I'm so pissed I did that. Man, that sucks. I mean, we have to it's just useless. It's useless to have it. Healer mages, that pisses me off so much, I can't even tell you, dude. That sucks so hard. Ugh. God, that's horrible. That is... I'm losing it, man. Losing it, bro. Alright, so I think we want to do this healer mages thing. We can get 1 healer mage out. That's pretty good. Yeah, we should be moving stuff around so we can have all the production stuff in one area and all the... all the troop stuff in another area. That's ideal. But, eh. We ain't got ideal, baby. Wow. Boink. Okie dokie. Pretty good. Let's see it. Where are we upgrading this stuff? Meteorite, hell yeah. Fissure, even more, hell yeah. Building upgrade. Fuel pump, which I don't know, what does it do? We don't have this. But I guess we'll do it, because it's really good. We'll go for tree. I don't think we have a ton of these. And small wheat field, whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay, healer mage. Perfect. That's good. And what does this cost? 38. Well, we've got a ton, so we're actually okay with that. We're actually okay with that. This thing's really good. The goldsmith's farm, that thing is so busted. Do we have another one of those? Really cool. Bumblebees was actually probably the... Nah. I was gonna say better. Nah, we're probably okay. Archery, explosive cart factory, madhouse, hunters, peasants, small peasants. So these are all the attacker stuff. Fuel pump produces fuel, which I don't really need for anything. Huh. Mines gold. Probably that then. Yeah, we'll probably do gold. You? Whatever. Pretty good. Longbowman. I like it. Advanced production. Forge. Metal into that stuff. I mean, we're kind of not really... Ooh. That's really good. That's really good. If we can get there, that's really super good. All right, and then we'll do gold mine here to replace this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because we're pretty solid with this. This is not too bad. And again, I really want to get this broader gaze thing. I don't think it's not really going to massively help us, but I just want it. I just want it. It's just an obvious. I want it. Ooh, we're almost into this. The incoming boss. To be honest, I feel like I should just finish. You know, I should just be like, all right, we're basically looking to just get rolled. It's not useful for us. Dude, that's a big bunch of people. Splat. Huh. I mean, we're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good work here. And these are two humongous. Let's see it. Let's get him. We should have done that first. We could have concentrated him, and we could have ameliorated many more losses, but that was the problem. It is what it is. We're getting there. All right. Gold mine. Yes. And then artifact. Firework spell every 3 waves. It's not bad. Central cell in the castle now works even when you're not watching. I'll take it. All buildings work 5% faster. Yep. And building upgrade. Wheatfield, yeah. Wheatfield for sure. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good. I don't mind this. I think increasing our... I mean, it's not bad to try to increase our limit, but I don't know if it's really going to be useful. I want this broader gaze just because it's like the obvious thing to get. It's like the most obvious. This helps you in the long term. It's very obvious. I want to now attack you. That should be good. I didn't get this healing guy, which is unfortunate, but it's okay. We can move you over here. I've got a spell I can use damage on it, but it's just not worth it. Yeah, it's totally not worth it. Let's think. Do I need any of these? Goldsmith's Farm, super good. Clay Mine, I don't need it. Sawmill, I don't need it. Academy of Nature, I don't need it. Cart Factory, don't need it. Longbowman's Camp, don't need it. Dragon's Bakery. I've not seen it. That's really cool. Gain 3 gold for each point of damage dealt to your castle. They have not gotten anywhere close to me. Ancient Pact. When your castle reaches 0 HP, it heals to 20, and all enemies are stunned for 7 seconds. Can only be used once. I'll take it. And then maybe... Hey, I guess I'll take all this. Maybe all these two, and... Hey, should I get any of these? Yeah, I'll take all those. I'll take them. Arcane. Yeah, I want that. Okay. Let's see if we can do any of this. There we go. That's pretty good. And we can finally upgrade that. Thank you, dear God. Took forever. Okay, that's finished. Let's do the Goldsmith Farm. Or should we try to bump this guy up? Right now, let's do that, and then we can leave this blank, and if I need to, I can install... Yeah, I can install another, like, place. Furniture. I don't have any furniture, though, right? Does this produce furniture? Sells furniture. Yeah, this doesn't make furniture. This gives me coins, so like this is a super good building, but it's useless without something that produces furniture. And I didn't know it produces furniture. I do actually have 15 furniture. You know what? Hell yeah. The Hungering Maw. Okie dokie. Let's get... I should have done this earlier, but it's fine. Boom. And then you. And then you. And then you. And then you. And then also you. Nice. We got him, buddy. Uh-huh. Let's do him. I think they should do it. I don't think this guy's gonna make it. I'm probably wrong, and stupid for saying that, but I'm gonna take it. I think we should be able to do it. I think we can knock him out. I think so. Somehow we got full these dudes. And they're super far back, so it's gonna take forever for them to do it. Then again, I'm totally fine with losing at this point. I really am. I'm totally fine if this guy snags me out. Because I'm actually wanting to get back to the main mission thing so that I can actually attempt to get some stuff out of it. Oh, that's what's happening. Right, it does say that he spawns enemies. That's right, I totally forgot about that. He does say he does that. He does that. That's funny. I forgot that. And he's going everywhere. He's going all over this damn screen. But I'll be honest, I feel like we're outproducing him, even though we don't have max item limit or anything. Unit limit. I think this is ours to lose at this point. Yeah. I think we got it. You know? I think we got it. Yep, I think this is ours. Oh, this is. I mean, at this point, it's ours, right? There you go. Endo story. Okay, so that it did victory out of us. Okay, good. I was thinking it would just keep going. Because it had, you know, it had things up there. That's cool. Excellent. Awesome. Pew 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 pew. Boink. Mmm, delicious. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. This is the thing. I should not have won this right out the gate. I really shouldn't have. But you know what? I did. Alrighty, let's check this. 42. Alright, upgrades, obviously. I feel like we actually could do what? We have 35, we have 4 more. 7. 35 divided by 7. Am I crazy to say that we've got enough for all of these? I feel like we do. Challenges after that. Then gallery, then encyclopedia. Yeah. I didn't even cheat. I mean, I did cheat, but like barely in terms of this stuff. Okay, challenges. Cool. Raise militia. Here we go. I mean, this is the long-term stuff. Is the challenges. Defeat bosses in a single run to unlock this king's abilities. So we would actually need 3 of them. If I just click on this, do I get somewhere? I know rewards are available. All right, kill your first enemy. We've got one of these, and then something there. Don't know what that is. Is that it? Okay, no rewards left. Aww, that's cute. That is cute. Look at this. This is cute, man. Look at this. That's some adorable little stuff there. Selected advisors. Gustav. 5% boost to the production of all buildings. Yup. I want him. Take him. Excellent. Okie dokie. Cool. Alright. All buildings production by 40% for 10 seconds. That's decent. And then you can raise them, but that's pretty good, actually. Threat level. Threat levels are unlocked by defeating the final boss of the run on previous level. Being a threat level for the first time also awards Ascension Crystals, which can be used to strengthen your army and king. Excellent. I'm guessing if you get challenges disabled, one boss fewer than usual will attack your castle. We don't actually want that. I actually want... Yeah. I actually want 3 bosses so that I can get this final ability. Whatever. We're not going to do it yet. Alright, upgrades, preparation, gallery, challenges, and then encyclopedia. Do we get anything for unlocking encyclopedia stuff? It don't seem like it. It's just a thing. Yeah, it's just a thing to look at. That's cool. Just a thing to look at. That's fine. No big deal. Alright, so for that, you. The Elite and Kingdom infrastructure stuff. Some of these are good, some of these are just like not useful. Academy of Lightning. Ooh, okay, so lightning is above healer and natures and stuff. That makes sense to me. Lightning does seem like it would be above. Alright, upgrades. What can we upgrade here? Tile seal. At the start of the run, you'll receive a tile enchanter, a building that can place a seal of production on a tile. That's okay. 30 wine at the start of the run. That's also kind of okay. What is it? Okay, so there is this. That's what I was wondering about. This is okay. I think we want to go for red. No, maybe blue. New advisor. New advisors. Advisors are good. Now, what are these guys? First Royal Quest. I would use that. Tile seal. It's okay. Upgrades for troops and miscellaneous buildings. That's pretty good too. Do I want to cheat this? I'm not sure, but goodness gracious, I am doing it. I don't want to start a new run, because if I start a new run, I'll have to play it out. I won't play it out all the way. So you know what I'm going to do? Yeah. I think this is a good time to... Yeah. We're pretty solid. We've been doing for, 3 hours and 40 minutes according to my timer here, which is pretty good. We got everything done that we wanted to do. I'm pretty happy about that. If anybody has any suggestions about other stuff they want me to look at or read or whatever, I'm happy to do that. But otherwise, I think it's probably a good time for me to end stream. My guess is the other people I'm living with have left all the windows wide open, and therefore my place is going to be disgustingly hot and humid, and I should close all that stuff because they cannot be trusted. As was the case yesterday. It doesn't infuriate me. It's totally fine. It's no big deal. Okay. With that being said, thank you very much for your time and attention.